Look, taken off. He actually almost got stopped, but he's going home for the touchdown.
Well, a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta. PlayAlberta.ca. Hope you had an awesome weekend as we are inching closer to St. Nick saying hello. Of course, Christmas is next Wednesday. All right, 9 days away, boys and girls. So get ready. Be prepared if you can be. So hopefully you are able to spend some time with your family, and hopefully your family gets along. That would make it a lot easier. I'm sure for those who don't, can be trying. So if it is, maybe a stiff bourbon. We'll see. Oiler fans should be jacked up. Another big win after spanking Minnesota 7-1. The Oilers controlled Vegas, win that game 6-3. You know, the first period, Oilers were up 1-0. You're thinking, okay, this one's going to live up to the first meeting, which was second meeting, which was a 1-0 game. And then the second period, all hell broke loose. There's goals all over the place. A few cheap hits. How that Jack Eichel hit is not a penalty, I don't understand. I had a really long conversation because I wasn't at the game because the team that I coach, we had a game that afternoon at 1 o'clock, so couldn't make it. So I was watching it later when I got home, and I'm telling you, I don't understand it. How that's not a hit from behind. So I had a really good chat with Ekholm because, and he told me that during the third period, like he's had Francis as a ref for a long time. He really likes him. Right? He says, hey, you know what? Guy's going to make a mistake. I make mistakes all the time. But he goes, you got to explain to me how that's not a penalty. And to his credit, they had a lengthy conversation. Anyone who was at the game, he said, if they were there, you would have noticed. For the virtually the full 2 minutes of the TV timeout, Ekholm said he was talking to Francis and just trying to see. And Francis did say, you know what? I went back. I looked at it. Goes, yeah, you know what? It's probably a boarding minor. Right? But he says probably. And Ekholm's like, dude, like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you know what? You're still goes, it doesn't matter. Hit me right in the back and 3 feet from the boards. Like, I think my personal note, the NHL has done a fantastic job of cracking down on hits to the head. They outlined it and made it very clear. No hits to the head. That's direct. Now, if you hit a guy in the shoulder, in the chest mainly, and then you get a piece of his head, that's not a hit to the head. Right? The initial contact is in the chest. That's allowed. Hits from behind, they have never made an emphasis to eliminate them. Because if they did, guess what? They would eliminate them. Players would stop doing it. It's that simple. But, and especially ones like Ekholm, what? 3, 4, that's the most dangerous area. If a guy's right up against the glass, yeah, okay. You know what? And you turn at the last second, okay, Ekholm didn't turn. He's going to get the puck. It's part of the game. So I didn't understand that call. Nonetheless, it didn't matter. The Oilers win. And they are now 9-2 in their last 11 games. They are the hottest team in the National Hockey League. And they got another big test tonight against the Florida Panthers. And I want you to listen to ask Matthew Tkachuk about a few things. Of course, he's in town. He won a cup. It's funny how he said, you know what, I used to hate coming to Edmonton. Now, because, you know, we won the Stanley Cup, we won some games in Edmonton. Hey, I kind of like it here. Everybody's perception can change. But last year, in December, oddly enough, it was actually December 23rd, 1 week later, when they met Vegas for the first time. And I asked Tkachuk how he felt that night, and is he expecting the Oilers to have a very similar feeling?
Yeah, I was pretty angry playing against Vegas for the first time last year. I mean, there's nothing you can do about the year before, obviously, but you want to, they took away your dream, basically. So I remember that was a very hard-fought game, to say the least, against Vegas last year. So I expect tonight will be a very, very, very intense game with a lot of physicality. I mean, they got a lot of speed and skill, but I'm sure this one's going to be a pretty intense one.
Without Barkov, if he doesn't play tonight, how tough is that challenge to try to shut these guys down?
Yeah, I mean, he's the best two-way player in hockey, so obviously could use him in a game like this. But no matter what, whether we have guys in or guys out, you got to find a way. We've lost 2 in a row, so we got to find a way to get out of this sooner rather than later. And it doesn't matter who's in or who's out, but he's such a talented player, and we're so lucky to have him. And just to see him and his, ever since I've been here, he just seems to keep getting better and better, and people still don't really know about it too much. So it's crazy to me. I still don't get it, but he's super lucky to play with him. So hopefully we can get him back here soon.
We haven't talked to you since that Amazon series dropped. Did you watch the whole thing, and what did you make of kind of your portrayal in it and your role in it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was, they were around for a few months, and it was a lot of filming. I thought they did a great job with it. I just think it's cool. I remember growing up watching the behind the scenes stuff for the 24/7 stuff. As a fan growing up, as a kid looking up to the players, you were just always super curious of what they're like as people. You see them as players, and you want to be. I remember I always wanted to be like Sidney Crosby and Patrick Kane, and then seeing them in some of the off-ice videos and what their habits were and routines were and just what their lives were like. I thought that was super cool. So I thought they did a great job, and hopefully everybody liked it.
Well, I love what he said. He was angry, right? Honest. And you would be the order. McDavid was even a little bit short today. This team's 9-2. And you can tell. I think when Florida comes, as Kachuk said, you can't change last season. It's impossible. It's over. But when you look at that game tonight, it's a reminder of what they took. And I think it'll be highly motivating. Should be a hell of a game. You throw in Florida's been shut out their last 2 games. They got shut out in Vancouver. They got shut out in Calgary. They're going to be a little annoyed, but then they also know, all right, it's Edmonton. They come back to this city. They're like, oh, yeah, this is the team. This is where we won well, they didn't win the cup here, but obviously, they won a game in Edmonton that led to them winning a cup. So they have good memories of it. So they'll be fired up. The Oilers are going to be fired up. Now, the Oilers, the other thing, have played on Monday night on Prime twice this year. They lost and were shut out both times. 3-0, they hosted the Devils, and then they lost 2 weeks later on November 18th in Montreal. So one of those goose egg streaks will end tonight. Florida scores. Edmonton's offense is rolling, 13 goals in their last 2 games. You throw in who the opposition is, I think this should be a hell of a matchup. A hell of a game. So very much looking forward to it. 833-401-1440 is our text line. You fired up, Oiler fans? I got to think you are. Hey, they took away your, as a fan, you cheer for your team to win a championship. You can't get any closer than Game 7. You can't. So, and the Panthers, they're a good team. They got some unlikable characters. Unless they're on your team, then you'd love them. I get it. And so I just think the building, I think, is going to be a little bit more intense tonight. It should be a hell of an atmosphere. So for the lucky ones who get to go, enjoy it. Month of giving. We had a great day on Friday. Ended up raising $15,800 for the Christmas Bureau. That was fantastic. This continues on today. And we're helping out the Christmas Bureau again because they need a lot of help. There's lots of families who need your help. And so here's an opportunity for you. Maybe you go with your family. Maybe you have it for your business. Maybe you want to take some clients. Maybe you just want to get together some friends, whatever. You're going to have a luxury suite. It's a 12-person suite, 2 parking passes underground, $500 food and beverage credit to use in the suite that night for the Oilers game on January 25th. Okay? 5 weeks from today. Nice. 6 weeks from today. So 833-401-1440. You want to help the Christmas Bureau? You want to get the suite? Have loads of fun, get a $500 food and beverage credits. January, so it might be cold. Well, don't worry. You'll be parking nice and warm. You can park underground, and then you just take the elevator right up to the suite level. You never have to be outside. It's unreal. You'll love it. You are a VIP for sure. So 833-401-1440 if you want that. Also, we'll take 5 people, $100, and one of you is going to get a pair of seats to tonight's Oilers-Panthers game. Okay? 5 people in at 100, then we'll do the draw. If you want in, 833-401-1440, put your name and put in $100 so I know what you are. And Mike opens up the bidding for the suite at $1,000, and we are off and running for the month of giving on Monday the 16th. Busy weekend in the National Football League. Oh, my goodness, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, that guy is worth the price of admission alone right now. Another high-scoring affair as the Bills and the Lions go at it. And, man, the Bills come out on top. Cons, that was you thought the Bills and the Rams game was pretty great. And they're like, oh, hold my beer as Buffalo gets by Detroit by 6 points, 48-42.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to give a shout out to the Josh Allen fantasy owners. We're riding high into the playoffs, and he's just been absolutely crushing it. 2 touchdowns on the ground as well. Goff in the loss. Pretty good game also. But yeah, the Buffalo Bills, I mean, they're finding ways to win football games. Their offense can carry the defense if needed. Josh Allen. I love Lamar Jackson. Love what Saquon's done this year. But how do you go against Josh Allen for the league MVP? He's been absolutely outstanding with what he's been able to do for this team. And yeah, the Buffalo Bills, if they can find a way to get that, well, they probably don't get it from the Chiefs. But, you know, going into Buffalo's going to be a tough place to play for anyone in the playoffs. And they look absolutely great right now.
Yeah. Well, do they look great defensively?
Well,
you're giving up that many points?
Offensively.
Yeah, offensively they look unreal.
Good.
And what about the Lions? My goodness, they just keep getting injuries. Montgomery is now out for the season. So I guess if you have him, that's not good as a fantasy owner. But if you have his running mate, that's the thing. Like, they go by duos. Cons. You don't think now they can just hand the ball off to one guy and be pretty comfortable with it?
Well, I mean, I wonder. Jameer Gibbs obviously is a guy who can go in there and change a pace back all the time. I would be lying to you if I said I didn't go out there and get the Lions' third string back. Who was it? Craig Reynolds. Just in case. I don't know if he's going to get an opportunity. Maybe you just roll with Jameer Gibbs. But I think Craig Reynolds all of a sudden is a guy you might want to take a look at. But it wasn't even just Montgomery.
No, they lost 2 other guys.
McNeil, a very good defensive lineman.
And their quarterback.
And then a broken jaw, for Carlton Davis. If they go on a long run, which I think most casual football fans hope they do because we like watching the Lions, he could come back. But a broken jaw is going to sideline him for a while. How
did he break it? I didn't even see the play. Did you?
No, I didn't even see it. Like, it's a unique injury in
football.
Yeah, jaw. Yeah, when you have it covered up there, it was crazy. But the Detroit Lions, man, Jared Goff's fun to watch, and when he's on his game, not turning the ball over, making the right decisions. I mean, he can put up points as good as anyone in the NFL. We saw him back in the day with going head to head when he was with the Rams against the Chiefs. The Monday night, Sunday night, where they just had one hell of a game. He's going to be someone I think, in the playoffs can be very good, especially playing in Detroit. Doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. It's going to be another team that I think is going to go for a bit of a run here. And how fun would that be if these two teams were to meet in the Super Bowl? Like, two franchises never won the big game, reputation as being just beauty people. That'd be a fun Super Bowl week.
Yeah, no, it would be great. So that was a big weekend in the National Football League. You look at some teams that kept their playoff hopes alive. The Chiefs probably a little nervous, but they're saying it's a mild high ankle sprain, which still high ankle sprain. So for Patrick Mahomes, he did not look good. Did you see that play? Ugly. So I got to think he's going to be out a few weeks. They're, the only thing they have to play for is home field advantage. It's the only thing. And I get that it's important, but it ain't that important. You're not going to risk him. And just because, so I would, they'll sit back and say, okay, we got 3 games left. Win. They got the Texans. All right. Now, obviously it's a lot harder. It's not, but the Texans, they're not the Texans of last year, at least the way they're playing. They're decent. Okay. Then they got the Steelers. So it's going to be hard for them to hold off Buffalo at the way Buffalo's playing right now. I think that's probably fair to say with the injury. And who do they wrap up against? The Broncos. So they don't have any easy games.
No, and the Bills have the Patriots twice and the Jets.
Yeah, well, so there you go.
Chiefs got to handle their business.
Yeah, well, they'll have to handle their business, and it'll definitely be it'll be tough, no question about it. So I look forward to that. John came in at 1,500. Steve was at 2,750. $50. And now Motsy's up to 4 Gs. Okay. Well, you know what I like, guys? Everybody knows what the value is. Just get it up quick. All right. So we're up to 4K now for the suite on January 25th. It's a 12-person suite with a $500 credit for food and beverage and 200-ground parking passes for the Edmonton Oilers. They are taking on Florida tonight. Remember, it's a little bit early start, so our pregame show will get going at 5:30 tonight as a puck drop around 6:42 if you are going or plan on watching at home. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show. Got a loaded one for you. Usually we do on Wednesdays. We're doing it today. And how about this? I'll give you a hint. See if you can guess it. This guest is a 3-time Super Bowl champion who never played football in high school. How many of those guys are there on the planet? Never played high school football, was a walk-on in college in his junior year, I should add. And then 3-time Super Bowl champion. Not bad career. That's coming up next. A special Who Is It Monday edition on the Gregor Show. We'll have Sean Brown at 3. Kevin Woodley will be by. Cam Tate, George Richards, Speck, and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies. From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Wow, get ready for a silly, hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Mr. Rooter decorates a gingerbread house.
Wow. What did you do here, Mr. Rooter?
Well, we've got a Jube Jube toilet, complete with an icing-based wax seal. The main water line is licorice, red for hot, black for cold. You got your standard marshmallow hot water tank and a candy cane sewer line. And on the outside, candy corn hose pips. Disgusting, but they get the job done.
To have your Yule clogs fixed, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop Door Crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Let's rock. Edmonton's biggest New Year's Eve party is at On the Rise.
Featuring Edmonton's #1 party band, the Barkels.
The Barkels. Get ready to dance the night away as we ring in 2025 in style at OTR.
Tickets include a 3-course meal, party favors, and bubbly at midnight.
This party sells out every year.
Oh, and if you don't have anyone to kiss at midnight, Marco is always available.
OTR's New Year's Eve party.
Tickets at ontherockyeg.com.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Didn't get a holiday bonus? At Wolf GMC Buick, we have the bonus you need. Get 0% financing on our most popular trucks like the Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab during GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Or select up to $8,500 on a number of Sierras. If you're looking for heavy duty, we have that too. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra HDs, Yukons, and the all-new GMC Hummer EV. And seeing it's the holidays, a $500 bonus on select 2024 and 2025 models. But when the holidays are done, so are these deals. Get to Wolf GMC Buick today.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
It's the Nissan Winter Ready event. Rogue brings a very winter-friendly standard all-wheel drive and impressive highway fuel efficiency, and you're free to start planning epic drives to the North Pole and everywhere in between. Right now, lease a 2025 Rogue for the equivalent of $89 weekly for 36 months. Plus, qualifying Nissan owners may receive up to $500 in loyalty bonus. That's all-wheel drive for $384 monthly with $3,199 down at 2.99%. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hey, Monday afternoon. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. You can always watch the show live on YouTube, Facebook, and X on Orders Nation. Our monthly giving package, we are now up to $4,300 from Steve. 43 from Steve as we're off and running. I love it. It's a suite for 12. Orders game on the 25th of January. It includes 200-gram parking passes and $500 in food and a beverage. Will the Oilers have lost a game by then? Who knows? Who knows? Because they are rolling right now, and they'll try to keep it rolling tonight against the defending Stanley Cup champions, a rematch of the Stanley Cup final last year. And both players say they are expecting this to be a rather intense matchup. I love it. Now, let's get to our big guest of the day. Usually we do Who Is It Wednesday on Wednesday, but we're doing it today. Special guest, fitting. Our big guest brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. Our guest played for the U.S. under 19 and 20 national teams. He was also on the national team for the 2016 Olympics in Rio. Did not play high school football. Then he walked on to Ohio State in his junior year, then ended up getting drafted in the 6th round, 2012, to become a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's also an author and now a minority owner of the New England Free Jacks rugby team. Very special guest joining us now, Nate Ebner. Nate, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I think you might be muted, Nate. We'll see, because I can't. We got it, Cons? Now we good. Nate, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. I can hear you now. I love it. All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me, though. I'm doing well. Yep.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on, man. This is, I was looking up your bio and I'm like, I'd like to know how many guys who never played football in high school walk on in their junior year and then up being a 3-time Super Bowl champ. You got to have a lot of good things. So I like to kind of go back to kind of your childhood. Obviously, you're a big rugby guy. So was like rugby your sport from day one as a young kid, or when did you get involved in rugby?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, my dad and I had an unorthodox upbringing. I was chasing robbers at a young age in a junkyard. So we did a lot of weird things. I was playing squash. I was playing, we'd put up badminton in the backyard. We did it all, but my dad played rugby. I was kind of obviously a kid that did whatever his dad did. And, fortunate for me, I was athletic enough to kind of have a career in sports, and I gravitated towards rugby because I think, like any sport, when you get that IQ for that sport at a young age, the next thing is the athletic ability. So being able to have both and play a kind of unique game in the United States, which is rugby, to be able to be exposed to that at such a young age, I was able to understand the game pretty well. And it was my core sport after 16 for sure.
And rugby is very similar in some ways to football, for sure. Obviously, you learned how to tackle properly playing rugby, so that obviously helped you later on in your career. Now, when you were playing rugby and you're in the United States and football is so popular, how come you never gravitated even to play football, like, even in high school? Like, did a coach ever ask you? No one ever approached you to play, or you never?
I did for sure. I played Pee Wee football, but you know how that goes. They just kind of hand it to you and you run around everybody. So, I mean, obviously I was around football. Football is so ingrained in our culture in America. I mean, obviously I've done a lot of stuff overseas. They don't really understand, how big of a role it is in, everyone's lives when you look at what people do on Saturdays and Sundays during the fall to watch their games. But yeah, I was around football, but I think rugby just got so serious for me at an early age. I was one of the better players at a pretty young age. I went to a developmental camp at 16 and actually ended up making the Junior 19 World Cup, my first one in Dubai. So at 16 years old, I was kind of on that fast track, and that kind of put football on pause. I got asked to play quite a bit at my high school. My senior year, I almost played, but I decided, I didn't really have a desire to play in college at the time. It was more like all my friends were playing and I wanted to play, but I had a Junior World Cup in the spring and I didn't want to risk any type of an injury and miss out on that with, the path I had carved out for myself in the rugby world. So I opted out, and my high school won the Division I state championship in Ohio, which is a big deal. And obviously I like to say they didn't need me. So it all worked out.
Now, Nate, you mentioned how you had a unique upbringing. You obviously had tragic in the sense that, your father was murdered in a robbery when you were, I think, 15.
19.
19. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that obviously has an impact on your life. You guys were very close. He taught you a lot of that. How much did that have an impact just on you as a person? And then did that have any impact in a way of you eventually trying football, just saying, you know what, I want to try something to, Dad maybe taught me never to be scared of anything. How did his passing impact you in your athletic and just personal life?
Well, I would start with this. My dad is the one who taught me about rugby, got me on the rugby path. And I wanted to walk on to Ohio State and play football. I had just finished up my last Junior World Cup. I was kind of stuck in college playing club rugby, and I didn't really have a direction until I finished school. And I got pretty frustrated with the club rugby stuff at the time after playing some of the best players in the world in the Junior World Cups. So I kind of started to have the itch for football. Obviously, I'm at Ohio State. It was kind of a perfect storm for me. So one of the harder conversations I had to have was with him about, hey, I want to walk away from this sport you led me to and go play football. And, we had that conversation. And right away, he was really receptive. He was like, if you're going to do this with everything that you have. No regrets, no playing rugby on the side. Just send it with football. Try to make it to the NFL. There's no better platform than Ohio State. And see what you can do. If not, rugby will always be there. And that was the last conversation I had with him. The next day, actually, is when he was murdered at the junkyard. And from then, you asked how it affected my life. I was in a pretty bad place. Obviously, my dad was, I put my dad's relationship with me against any father-son relationship out there. He was my Superman and my rock, and I had lost him. And I dropped out of school for the quarter. We were in quarters back then, and kind of was in a vengeful mindset, pretty angry kid. But I'll say, I was very lucky. I was fortunate to have the leadership in my life that I had, not only with my coaches, and my father, but, my mother as well. And my mom came up to me and was like, in tears. And she said, not what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear. And that was, you need to live a life your dad would be proud of. He would hate to see, him being gone ruin the rest of your life. And that was kind of the catalyst moment for me that really sparked it. I changed my mindset after that conversation. Just seeing my mom's strength to say something to me like that through tears really hit home. And she was right. I needed to get on and make my dad proud. And I changed my mindset to one of gratitude. I was very thankful for the man that I had in my life that taught me what he taught me, the leadership. I had more of a father in 19 years than most people do in a lifetime. So I also had some friends who lost fathers at the age of 13 when they need a man the most. And I was fortunate enough that he passed when I was 19. So he became more of a friend at that point. So like I said, I changed my attitude to one of being grateful. And that was really the moment that things changed. And I set out, to make him proud. And I was on a mission. When I got to Ohio State, I would have died for that. It was so important to me. And I think people really realized, I wasn't messing around. And I didn't know anything about football. I'll say, playing Pee Wee football and college football at Ohio State's a vast difference. And that was probably one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had. Obviously, athletically, I was very gifted and played against some of the best rugby players in the world. We played against South Africa. 22 of their 26-man roster were already under professional contract. So I was around good athletes. And when I came to Ohio State, I was fine in that world. I just didn't know the difference between cover 2, cover 1. I couldn't tell you anything. So I gravitated towards special teams because, you could put me on kickoff. I could run down the field and tackle the guy with the ball. And that was how I got on the bus, and that's how I got the journey started. And, I knew I had to play in games to make this thing work. And what I did was just go on special teams and build off of that. And obviously I made it work from there.
Nate, I do understand how you feel. I lost my father suddenly, a very different way than yours. My dad just had a heart attack when I was 27. And at that time, my mother said a very similar thing about, live a life. We got along great. I had no regrets, thankfully, because I think people that do that would be very tough. But I was 27, which seems a lot older than 19 at that time. And so I've always said, hey, I got 27 years was good. So I can relate to that. And to have that conversation, the timing of it, and then the next day have him murdered, man. That's crazy. And good on you for turning to that horrible experience into something that would motivate you. And I want to get to the walk-on experience. So you said you knew nothing about it, but obviously you knew football in the sense of, okay, I can see the basics of it. I know how to tackle. I'm pretty fast. I can run. What's the conversation? How do you get to be a walk-on? So you just call up the coach. I want to go to tryout. How did you get into, it's not like, you're not a Division III school. You're like a Division I Ohio State school. They got guys begging to get there.
Yeah, it wasn't like a preferred walk-on either. A lot of walk-ons are mostly preferred walk-ons. They're, hey, well, you can come be on the football team, but we're not going to put you on scholarship. And that's the majority of walk-ons out there. Now, there's another path called what a true walk-on is, where you go and you do a tryout, like a pro day or something of that sort. But man, what an experience. There were probably 70 to 80 kids there. Half of them had their Ohio State jerseys on. This was their moment that, they said they had a chance with football at Ohio State. And it was in no disrespectful way. It was pretty laughable, considering the high level of athletes we're talking about, what they're trying to do. But there were a small number of us that were good. And I'd say, after the end of the day, there were about 14 or 15 of us that they said, okay, you can come to work out. And so 14 or 15 of us we're not allowed to work out with the team. The team works out at 6 a.m. We have to work out at 5 a.m. And it was 2 weeks of walk-on workouts. And I'll say this, I've done pretty hard training my entire life. The hardest training I've ever done in my life was obviously the Olympics. That was real deal training. Outside of that, those 2 weeks of that walk-on workout were probably right behind that. It was very difficult, and they were set out to break you and really find out if you wanted to be on that team. And at the end of it, there were about 3 of us left.
Okay.
And then, so 3 of us went into spring ball. And then by the time I was a senior, 2 more years had passed. There was just probably me and one other kid. So they really weed you out. It was a tough experience, but then, you make the team and you're thrown in the fire. But I didn't get a lot of reps. That was probably the hardest thing about once I had made the team, it's like, you've got your 5-star recruits, your starters, your freshmen that are supposed to be the next big deal. It was hard for this, 20-year-old walk-on to get any reps and learn how to play. So like I said, I gravitated towards special teams, but I really had to fight for the attention. And I'd say my senior year, I probably should have started, on defense. But again, I think I was up against, we've got pipelines of 5-star recruits coming from some high schools. And it's like, you're going to put this, walk on that no one's heard of above our 5-star recruit. We'll send our recruit somewhere else. So I think when I got to the NFL, it was a lot less political. Bill was like, the best players play. That's it.
Yeah.
So Ohio State was tough, but it was a great, launch pad and place to teach me a little bit and get me recognized. And that's what I needed.
Nate Ebner joins us, a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots. They drafted him in the 6th round in 2012 after a few years at Ohio State where he was a walk-on, had never played football. I obviously had a great background in rugby. And so take me through your draft year, Nate. And, you were a special team guy mainly in college. So, you didn't have a huge, long film of great tackles of the linebacker or, a free safety or what have you. Were you expected to get drafted? Did you get interviewed a lot to kind of tell us how you end up as a 6th rounder by the Patriots?
Yeah, I mean, that process, was a roller coaster. I mean, at first, I wasn't even sure if I should do my pro day. I wanted to, but I knew I didn't have the tape, defensively. I had 3 defensive snaps at Ohio State while I was there. One of them was a sack, by the way. But, yeah, I didn't get a lot of defensive reps. But I'd had really good special teams film. I mean, I was like leading tackler in the Big Ten. Like I did well at that, but I went to the head coach at the time. It was Luke Fickell was the interim head coach when Tressel left. And I was like, Fick, should I do this? And, he gave me this long speech about how he tried and it didn't work for him. But ultimately Mike Vrabel was there. Mike Vrabel was a defensive coach at the time, and Vrabes was, really encouraging to me to, hey, go ahead and take a shot. So I did the pro day, and once I did the pro day, I had a great day that day. I mean, my numbers would have been top 3 in every single category if I was at the combine that year. So it was like a great day. I started to gain the attention of the scouts. I had a couple talks with the Patriots while I was there. They were the St. Louis Rams at the time and the Cardinals. And, I'd talked to some teams and I didn't expect to get drafted. I just wanted a chance. That's what this was all about, was just getting on a team and having the opportunity to make it in the NFL. And then draft day comes around and, obviously the first day is the first rounder, so nothing happens there. And then the second day, my phone starts ringing and ringing some more, and I'm having some conversations, and my agent's calling me, and I'm like, you know what, I might actually get drafted here. And it was just something I wasn't sure about. But then as the day went on, I was like pretty sure I was going to get drafted. And I was actually on the phone with the Cardinals at the time. And then, my agent called me and said, hang up, the Patriots are trying to get a hold of you. And sure enough, I click over and, Mr. Kraft's on the phone, and then he hands it to Bill, and, Bill's on the phone, and, you're a New England Patriot, and my name popped up on the thing. And, I was just playing ping pong in my basement with my cousin. And then, my family was there. We didn't know what was going to happen, but, I'm pretty nonchalant about all that. I knew at the end of the day, I was going to have to get to work, drafted, undrafted, didn't matter. So I was really excited, but what a great opportunity to start my NFL career was starting with being drafted and two picks above Tom Brady. So I've always got that.
I love it. I was just about to ask you about that. Now we'll take a quick break because I want to ask you about Brady and Belichick and also being an author and much, much more with 3-time Super Bowl champion Nate Ebner here on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hello, may I take your order?
Yes, I'd like a double Schwab, please.
Excuse me?
And upsize the Schwabs. Can I get a diet Schwab with that?
Please pull around, sir.
It's get the truck out of here at Schwab's. Right now, get a 2024 GMC or Chevy 1500 Crew Cab loaded with extras for just $54,995, or a 2024 GMC 1500 Crew Cab Elevation starting at $56,900. Plus, save up to $17,000 on the Sierra Denali and Chevy High Country. Satisfy that craving at Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goal. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job, from home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs. We're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at Cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.243, welcome back. Little Marky Mark for you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Oilers hosting the Panthers tonight in a Stanley Cup rematch from last season. Oilers hottest team in the league right now at 9-2 in their last 11 games. And we are happy to have still on the line three-time Super Bowl champion Nate Ebner. Won all three with the New England Patriots after being drafted in the 6th round in 2012. As he said, 2 picks higher than Tom Brady when he was drafted a few years there. Now, Nate, as you get to you get drafted by a team, and you were drafted the same year they had lost the Super Bowl to the Giants. So, you're coming into a championship organization that's got, the greatest quarterback, now the winningest coach and obviously the winningest quarterback and lots of expectations. Was it easy to fit in that room, or was it like, oh my God, there's a lot of pressure and I feel pretty stressed walking in that room for the first time?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of stress, right? I mean, it was funny. My first time meeting Bill, I just remember we got off the bus and we got to meet him individually. And I was like, hey, Bill, I'm excited to be here, and he was like, well, you're ready to work, right? And I was like, well, yeah, duh. That's kind of my, that's how I get down. That's in my DNA. But I didn't realize, I was always a hard worker. Obviously growing up in a blue collar upbringing in a junkyard and just with my dad and playing all these sports. But, he really put that, hard work to the test every day. And, a lot of guys aren't cut out for it. But he did a good job of bringing those type of people into that organization. And I was one of those. And, but like you said, right away, it's intimidating in the sense that, you know, you've got the Tom Brady's of the world and Gronk's, but he wasn't Gronk at the time yet. But you know what I mean? There's a lot of good players there. But at the end of the day, Bill was really, you know, very clear about what the expectations were. And when you have someone like Tom Brady walking it out, working hard, and you just follow suit and you give everything you have to it. And like I had mentioned earlier, this was really important to me. I wanted to have success, you know, making my dad proud and doing all that wouldn't have been just making it, you know, just getting drafted and not really make it in the league. I wanted to have a successful career and really make it in the NFL. And so I really wanted it bad. And at the end of the day, I just put my head down and work, and New England was the best place for me. That's what Bill wanted. And, you know, that's who I was. So, yeah, it was a lot. I will say that rookie year was a whirlwind, though. I still didn't really learn a lot about football at Ohio State.
Yeah.
I learned how to move like a football player, which was good, but I didn't understand the game until my rookie year with Matt Patricia and then coaches like him and Brian Flores and obviously Bill. And those guys really helped elevate my mental side of the game. And that rookie year was the year that I really elevated my IQ of the game of football, if you will. And that was a critical time because they don't give you a lot of time in the NFL to figure it out. You know, you either do or you don't. And, you know, Bill doesn't mess around with that. A lot of teams will keep high draft players and see if they work out. You know, Bill didn't really follow that mantra. It was like, you're here whether you're drafted or undrafted free agent. Okay. We just want the best players. And I saw a lot of second round guys and down just get released within the first year. So, but I kept my head down and worked and, you know, just tried to make the most of every opportunity. And that's all you could ask for.
When you talk about football IQ, Nate, what was, you know, the few most important things that you learned that year that allowed you to have such a successful career?
Well, I would say that year, the things that I learned were first and foremost about myself. I needed to play with confidence and not be worried about other people. I was very capable and I needed to let that go. That was the biggest thing I probably learned my rookie year. But man, where to begin about football? I mean, I would start. I mean, my first game, I played half of the game at safety. I played more in the first series than I did my entire college career. And, you know, that's Bill would say, if you can only do one thing, you better be the best in the NFL at it. And if you can't, if you're not the best, you better be able to do a lot of different things. And that was kind of something I hung on to. I wanted to always be, you know, the best at whatever position I played on special teams, but I also wanted to know strong safety, free safety, you know, the money position and dime packages, the star and big nickel packages. I wanted to know every position because I wanted to be that utility guy that if somebody got hurt, we can put Nate in that position and everything will be fine. And that's really when I learned everything about the defense. You know, at Ohio State, and when you're young, it's like in this coverage, this is your responsibility. You know, but once you really open your mind to it and you see what everyone is doing, what everyone's responsibility is, it makes you really understand the game and why your responsibility is what it is. And it helps you play better. But seeing the big picture, I guess is what I'm saying. That rookie year made me really understand all the moving pieces and why we do what we do.
Nate, is there, like, obviously you win a Super Bowl, I think, in your third season in the league, but you know, that conversation you'd had with your mother and how, you know what, you want to make your dad proud and you want to, you know, get your life on the right path. Was she there for your first NFL game? Is there a moment in your pro career where, you know, you could kind of sense dad's proudness through your mom?
Yeah, I mean, she was always proud. She was definitely at my first game and many more. You know, I think that first preseason game where it's like you're actually dressed and playing, you know, that was a big one. But I think the biggest moment that I remember, like you had just mentioned, was that Super Bowl, that first Super Bowl win. And, you know, her coming down on the field and putting her arms around me, and, you know, just your dad would be so proud of you. You have no idea. And, you know, it was just the way it came full circle to that moment. I never expected, you know, we're talking about trying to make it to the NFL, but not holding up the Lombardi Trophy and Super Bowl rings and, you know, being champions like that. That's a whole nother beast that I was very fortunate to be at a team that I was at. So I'd say that first Super Bowl win was the one that resonates the most with me.
Now, be honest, Nate, when you're standing on the sidelines, did you think they were going to hand off to Lynch?
I mean, I didn't even know what to think. You know, in my mind, I was already getting ready to be like, all right, if they score, how much time is left? This is what we got to, you know, I'll be probably this kickoff return is what we'll run. You know, I was already trying to get ready to do some type of kickoff return had they scored a touchdown. But yeah, I think in that situation, you're a little surprised, but I don't really remember. I think they ran the ball a time or two before that. They were close, but it was just so funny that we ran the same play in practice, and Malcolm got torched on it like 2 or 3 times, and it was like, is this guy going to get it right? And then they run the same one, and you could just see the way it triggered in his mind how quickly he just panic sprinted towards that slant and, you know, made a play he had no business intercepting, let alone, you know, breaking up the pass. I mean, it was destined to be. And, you know, it all worked out for us. But, yeah, I'm really glad they decided to pass the ball there.
Nate Ebner joins. Now, Nate, can you take us 2 years later? It's halftime. You guys are getting spanked by Atlanta in the you know, the biggest game of the season. And, you know, you guys are a dominant team. Is it calm? Is there somebody that stands up? Take us through the halftime, because it's extended halftime at Super Bowl, of course,
yeah,
with the show, and what went on there to lead to obviously the greatest comeback in NFL history.
Yeah, I'd say that actually is the coolest thing about that Super Bowl. And probably my favorite one was, you know, it's 28-3 at halftime, and we go in the locker room, and it was really calm. And all the guys knew, like, we weren't going away that easy. Nobody was hanging their heads. Everybody just wanted to get back out on the field as soon as possible and right the ship. But, you know, Bill's biggest thing was we're not going to, you know, come back in this game in one play. You know, it's going to have to be one play at a time. We're going to have to do our thing, put some drives together, get some stops, get some turnovers. And I think the first half was a little bit of a misrepresentation of that game because Tom threw a pick six. You know, I think we had an opportunity to score and we didn't. And, you know, we gave up a really long run or two. And I think other than like 4 or 5 plays, it was a pretty tight game. So we just needed to mitigate those big plays. But, man, the calmness in the locker room, the way, you know, Bill said we just got to take it one play at a time, and we'll do it in the belief in that room. You know, I've never really been a part of anything like that. You know, it was a long shot to come back, but just the belief in the room before it happened, it was like surreal that, you know, we all believed it. And then we went out there and we did the damn thing. So it was really cool to be a part of. That was probably my favorite moment.
Oh my goodness. It could have been like the celebration after that one, right? Like hey, you win a Super Bowl, they're all great, but there's some, not every win's the same. Like that one just had to be a little bit more special in the day, that night, and the next few days.
You could feel it happening, you know, and that second half came around, and when we scored, and then, you know, we got a couple stops and we scored again. And like, you could kind of tell they switched off a little bit. The Falcons did. And, you could just kind of feel it though, because then once it started getting tight, they, you know, it was like that arm wrestle that we've already got them, and we're just about to finish you, and they just couldn't do anything about it. And it was cool to go from the locker room to the field and just feel it happen. It was pretty awesome. It was, like I said, my favorite moment.
Nate Ebner joins us, 3-time Super Bowl champion, also represented Canada at the 2016 Olympics in Rio in rugby. You're also an author of the book Finish Strong: A Father's Code and a Son's Path. Tell me, you know, I think I know the motivation to write it. Obviously, your relationship, you're very proud of your relationship with your dad, but was it cathartic at all for you to write that book?
I have to get out my dictionary to look up cathartic, but I'll tell you about my experience. It was funny. You said, you understand the motivation to write it, but honestly, I really didn't want to write it. It was funny. I would come back in the off seasons to Ohio State to train, and I'd meet, Urban became the new coach after Tress, and Herb, I met Herb, God love Herb, but I met him like 5 times, and he'd always be like, who are you? Who are you? And then went to the Super Bowl and won the Olympics. And then he's like, oh, Nate, and I'm like, okay, I got his attention now. And I think Herb dove into my story a little bit, and he was like, Nate, you need to tell your story, And I was like, yeah, maybe I could do it. Well, the following season, I tore my ACL about 9 weeks in, and I found myself with a lot of time on my hands. And I was like, you know what, I will write this story. So I took him up on it. And yeah, it was a cool experience, nostalgic, and it was, great memories, and to really dive back into my childhood and think about things as an adult, and, how my dad operated. And I think I really gained a lot of respect for him as a parent, and, not only what he did, with his responsibilities, but just the way he, raising a kid, you got to be, it's careful business. You can't push too hard, but you got to push a little bit and know when to push. And, I think it's a little bit of me being receptive as I was as a young kid, but my dad was always about having fun. And, if we're not having fun, let's not do it. And he would kind of let me make all the decisions if we're going to train or not. But I was kind of the kid that always said yes. And, it was fun to think back on those moments and really dive into that. And I think ultimately, as the title says, A Father's Code and a Son's Path, the story is about, my father and my relationship, and then the leadership, and how to be a good parent, and the important things in life. And obviously the vessel for the story is an amazing sports journey that, you couldn't really, make up.
Yeah.
But that grabs the attention, but the meat of it, the good stuff is the upbringing I had that was so unorthodox, and this crazy father figure that was just nuts, but just loved me so much, and he showed that through his actions. And I got to like I said, I had one of the best dads in the world. I was very lucky for that. So yeah, that experience was cool writing it. And ultimately, I hope people take away that they shouldn't let tragedy define them. You can achieve anything that you want if you're willing to sacrifice everything and put your mind to it. And also just how to be a good parent, and what love really means. And, it's not toys, it's not words, it's action, and it's time. And that's really what I wanted to get across through that story.
Well, then I think it's fantastic, because I think at a time in society where maybe some people try to devalue the importance of fatherhood, I think it's fantastic when more men talk about it. And it's a funny thing how we wish when we were younger we really understood how good of a father is, because it's a job that's one that, man, it's like an investment that maybe pays off a long time down the road. It doesn't give, at that moment, you love your kids and it's great, but kids, they don't really like, it's not that you didn't appreciate, you just didn't know how important it was what he was doing as a father. And I think a lot of us feel that same way. I know I felt that about my dad as I got older. And and when I became a father myself, I'm like, oh, geez, this is how he did it. All right. So, and then you try to hope that you can do it. Now, Bill Belichick is a head coach. He's going to North Carolina. Give me your thoughts on Bill there. And, in college, coaches can be very impactful, right? For players and being a father figure in a sense, potentially, depending on their backgrounds and stuff. What do you make of Bill going back at this stage of his career to college?
Well, I'm not surprised that he's going back to football. I mean, the guy, I've never met someone who loves football more than him. I'm not surprised at that at all. Now, him going to college to UNC, I don't think I could have called that, and I really don't think anyone could have. Especially with the stuff you see going on with the NFC East, you would have thought something would happen there. Why, how close he was to the all-time winningest coach. Why it's not the NFL, I can't speak to that. I can only presume, but the fact that he's back into football, no surprise there. And I think ultimately he loves ball. He's going to do a great job coaching, and he's a great leader of men, especially young men. And, they're very lucky to have him. I think he'll set things up in a way that he probably doesn't have to deal with the shenanigans of college sports right now.
Okay.
At least the best that he can, and focus on football. I see what's going on. Obviously I'm close to Ohio State, and it's tough. It's tough on Coach Day, and what these guys have to do outside of, what they probably thought they signed up for originally, which was to coach ball, and it just turns into a whole different thing. So, hopefully, I don't even say hopefully, he'll weather that storm, I'm sure. And like I said, not surprised he's back in football. That's where he's meant to be.
Now, rugby is where you started your sports journey, and now you're involved, a minority owner of the New England Free Jacks rugby team, along with your former teammate Patrick Chung. You guys are back-to-back MLR champs. You mentioned earlier when you played that you kind of got discouraged a little bit by the club and everything. How are you able to do things in your minority ownership that you think can help rugby overall in the United States?
Well, I think the biggest issue rugby has is, kind of the reason I left. It's that there was no future for me as a young, American rugby player in college. It was to play in a World Cup and represent the U.S. But outside of that, how do you put food, on your table? Right. And I would have had to gone overseas, and that wasn't something I was really interested in. So, to set up a professional league that's set up pretty well, the inception year was like 2 years before COVID, and to get through COVID in a business that involves bringing people together, a sports startup as well. It's a testament to the league and how well it's run, and how, I think it will be lasting. As a young player, I was a part of a lot of startup rugby leagues that didn't have success. So to have this league that's, doing well, bringing a lot of really good talent over from overseas, it's a really good product. But ultimately, it's a professional league in the United States that allows young American rugby players to aspire to play in. And you need to have that. I think at the same time, you need to have more and better grassroots accessibility to rugby. And it's kind of, they have to happen in conjunction. It has to happen organically. You can't have all these grassroots without a professional league. Why would a kid want to play at a young age if there's nothing to do, when he gets older, when he could play in the NFL? Same reason I left. But if you have a pro league that's successful with no grassroots kids, all you're going to do is feed foreigners in it. And, ultimately we want, Americans to be the majority of those rosters. So those things need to happen together, but having a stable professional league is a huge step for rugby in this country. And I'm glad to be a part of it. And hopefully it'll have continued impact in the game.
Well, Nate, I love that you're being part of the game that meant so much to you and your father, and kind of keeps your relationship going in a unique way, and continued success and everything. Thanks so much for joining us here on the show today, and look forward to reading the book.
Yeah, no worries. You'll have to let me know what you think.
Oh, I will. 100%. I'm a huge reader, so I'll be that'll be pretty much done, I think, over the Christmas break for sure. So I love stories like that.
Appreciate you having me, man. Had a good time.
Thanks, Nate. Have a great day, my man.
You too. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Nate Ebner, 3-time Super Bowl. Unbelievable. Imagine that conversation. Now, we got a few text messaging. Are you kidding me? He had that talk with his dad and he passed away the next day. Oh, my God. That one comes in from Rodney. Guys, I lost my father. Jeez, I don't even know why. I started tearing up listening to Nate's story. That comes in from our email, gregor@sports1440.ca. And, hey, you know what? I get it. It's emotional. It's understandable. You imagine that. You have this great relationship with your father. He got you into rugby, you played all the time. And then, Dad, I got to try football. This rugby thing isn't for me. All right, way you go. And then the next day, he's murdered in a junkyard. Their family owned a junkyard. And as he said, they had many people trying to steal stuff from the junkyard. And obviously that day it went way too far. Gentleman who murdered him went to jail for it, obviously. And That led Nate to be a walk-on at Ohio State and then drafted in the 6th round by the Patriots and win 3 Super Bowls. Was a all-pro team, a second all-pro team in 2016, and now he's an author. Man, so highly recommend it. We've had a few people asking. The book is called Finish Strong, A Father's Code and a Son's Path. We will take a quick break. Brownie will join us. We'll update you on the month of giving. Trent's up to 4,500 on our package today. We'll tell you what it is. Also, the other little small package, we got 3 spots left. If you're looking at, you want to go the order Florida game tonight, 833-401-1440. We'll take 5 entries of $100. We'll make it into the draw, and away you go. You'll go to the game. Great seats for tonight's game, which is going to be highly, highly intense, according to all the players. I like it. No one's pulling any punches today. Yeah, this is going to be different than a normal regular season game. I love it. Should be a heck of a game to want to go to. And if you want in, 833-401-1440, just text in your name. $100 donation. We'll send you where you can make your donation. And we'll return after the Command Sports 1440 update, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. You can get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Edmonton Oilers in action tonight, taking on the Florida Panthers. Puck drop just after 6:30. We got pregame coverage coming up for you at 5:30 with Andrew Walker, Jason Gregor, and Donovan Paulson. Elsewhere around the NHL, Stars host the Caps and the Avalanche in Vancouver, taking on the Canucks. Javon Leake is staying with the Green and Gold as he's agreed to a 2-year contract extension with the Elks. 26 years old, he joined the team last season and posted career highs on offense and carries, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. Week 15 in the NFL concludes tonight with a doubleheader. 6 o'clock, you got Minnesota hosting Chicago. Then at 6:30, Atlanta heads to Vegas, taking on the Raiders in the association. Raptors host the Bulls. Pistons meet the Heat. Sixers in Charlotte. Nets take on the Cavs. Nuggets up against the Kings. And the Clippers hosting the Utah Jazz. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host and former NHLer Sean Brown. We'll also hear from Kevin Woodley of In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies. From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with Score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
At On the Rocks, everyone's on the nice list this December. Even you, Sierra. We saw you shaking your ass on the dance floor.
Until December 31st, purchase $100 worth of gift cards at OTR and get a bonus $20 DC for free.
That's like 10 free hot dogs on Mondays.
Or 10 free tacos on Taco Tuesday.
How about 30 free wings on Wednesdays?
Or even 4 free drinks during happy hour.
However you divide it up, it's $20 free at On the Rocks. Calm down, Sierra.
On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
For half a century, that's 50 years, GS Construction has been building the foundation of Edmonton and the surrounding area's infrastructure. But let's make one thing clear. This milestone would never be achieved without the dedication of our incredible team. Together, we've built the underground infrastructure that keeps things running smoothly, from the existing to the new underground systems. It's 50 years of hard work the team has put in to make it all possible. Here's to another 50 years. For more on our team and our work, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Kids getting free all season long. Can you believe it? Looking for an enjoyable and affordable family night out? The Spruce Grove Saints are excited to introduce their Kids Get In Free program. All kids 12 and under receive free admission for every Saints home game this season. Bring the entire family for action-packed junior hockey at a fraction of the cost. For more information, check out sgsaints.ca.
Ho, ho, ho! 'Tis the season to find the perfect gift at the perfect price at Leduc Goldsmith.
Thanks, Nate. Have a great day,
The
man.
annual Christmas sale is on now with up to 30% off store-wide, plus special flyer savings. All natural and lab-created diamond engagement rings are 15% off with a wide selection available. The team at Leduc Goldsmiths have years of expertise to help you find what you need. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's Jewelry Store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years.
It's the Nissan Winter Ready event. The all-new 2025 Kicks is ready with standard heated front seats to keep you toasty on those winter drives. And with standard wireless Apple CarPlay, the playlist will be hot too. Right now, lease the 2025 Kicks for the equivalent of $78 weekly for 39 months. Plus, qualifying Nissan owners may receive up to $500 in loyalty bonus. Ed's front-wheel drive for $336 monthly with $2,499 down at 5.99%. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:10. Welcome back. Game day. Oilers, Florida, the Stanley Cup rematch. Lots on the line. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where the Oilers are getting lots of respect. Of course, no surprise. They are the favorite tonight, the hottest team in the National Hockey League, 9-2. But, not a huge favorite against the defending champs. So, should be a good one. Also, Washington and Dallas. That's another great game. The Capitals continue to roll. Capitals a big underdog in Dallas tonight. Woo. If you like the odds, you might want to put a few shekels on that one at playalberta.ca. Mentioned that Trent is in for $4,500 today on our month of giving package. It is a luxury suite for the Oilers game on the 27th of January against the Seattle Kraken. Okay. And that includes 2 parking passes and a $500 food and beverage credit to use in the suite. And if you want, hey, we can make a special appearance. Come on down, say hello, watch Period or So with you. Maybe bring a friend or two. So we'll see. Surprise friend. Maybe Sean Brown. If you want to meet all his sweaters.
You don't like this one?
No, I don't mind that. Well,
it kind of matches your suit, actually.
Wow, a little bit. But I was like, I almost thought it was padded. Like
really?
you're
like patches?
No, like just thicker. It looks like
thicker.
it's like I don't know. It's like you got a few pillows on those shoulders
it
there.
Does beef you up a little bit.
That's looking a little bit. I was like, geez, Brownie might have been hitting a lot of the weights before he comes in here, just all juiced right up. I like it. So yeah, you'll come to the game.
No, I'm not coming tonight.
No. On the 27th.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, if you would like to invite me, I would love to come.
Well, there you go. So you can have a special appearance by Sean and Brown and myself in the suite. Say hello to you, have some laughs. It'll be a good time. So 833-401 1440, 833-401-1440. Trent has that. We also have 3 spots left in our, and we'll do it very quick. Once we get them filled, it'll be done. We'll do the draw. Ian and Ken are in. And if you want in, it's 100 bones, goes to charity, and you'll get a chance to go to the game tonight for $100. Pretty good. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Great seats, lower bowl, orders attack twice. And this game's got a little bit more bite to it. Kachuk was very honest. He said, man, like, because they were in this position virtually a year ago in December. They played Vegas, and he goes, I was really angry that game because it's like they stole your dream. And even though you can't change what happened, you're still annoyed by it. And I think that's how Edmonton was. Like McDavid, you know what? Norman, he was a little bit shorter today. Like, I just think they're focused.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. There's definitely games that you look on the calendar that you want to get excited for, and I think the timing for both teams. I think obviously for the Oilers and the way they're playing, this is perfect timing for them to kind of measure and see where they're at. And for the Florida Panthers, I don't think this Western swing has been overly great for them. So I'm sure an emotional game is a game that I'm sure. Their coaching staff. There's sometimes, we talk about different games that you can build off of. This is one of those games, I think.
Yeah. Well, you look at just what they build off of. They dominated Minnesota, against Vegas. An interesting second period for sure. Like first period, it's 1-0. And, there were some shots, but you're thinking, oh, this might be similar to the 1-0 game we saw in Vegas a few weeks earlier. And then the second period, it was just goals and hits and that Eichel play. I still don't understand how that's not a penalty, but whatever.
Yeah.
And it was, kind of all hell broke loose in that period in a good way and made it exciting. And, Edmonton's offense, 13 goals now in their last 2 games. They've only allowed 4 goals. Like they're scoring lots. Like every facet of their game right now is rolling. Penalty kill, good. Power play, good. Goaltending, good. Defense, good. Offense, good. Like up and down the lineup.
Yeah. Like, you know what? It's just like tactically as a team, the structure in which they're playing, the details is really good. I don't know about you, but like, what a great game to watch, even though that the Oilers, I mean, obviously with the amount of posts that Vegas hit and some of the scoring chances that they didn't capitalize. What an out. It was just as a fan and someone that enjoys, it had everything. It had the skill. It had technically the details, the checking. It was just a very fun game to watch. But, when I watched the Oilers in that game and just the difference between the confidence in which they're playing, it makes such a difference. And it's amazing how everyone can look so much better.
Yeah.
Right. And, kudos to Vegas too, as much as, the Oilers deserve the breaks and were scoring and playing the way they were playing. Like I really enjoyed the fact that Vegas didn't change, right? Like they just kept coming, and that's a sign of a good, mature team, right? Is they just, regardless of the situation, the score, they kept playing the same way, and they had chances, didn't get them. But yeah, it's the Oilers got to be happy, and the fact that the amount of guys throughout their lineup that are contributing, is nice to see. And, for the coaching staff, I think they deserve a lot of credit here for, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, but you can see the progression. You can see, where the team is building to. And it's nice. And it's, Skinner's playing great. But yeah, they got to love coming to the rink because they all should feel confident and good about themselves.
Sean Brown, Jason Gregor with you on Sports 1440. No lineup changes for the Edmonton Oilers. They'll run the exact same lineup. Evan Bouchard didn't skate today, but he's going to play tonight. Just getting a little R&R after the hit still from Ryan Hartman. Give me your thoughts on that play, Brownie.
Yeah. You know what? I thought it was fine. I mean, Bouchard's got to be ready, right? The puck's, you're both guys are going after the puck. I think that, the Oilers are doing a lot of it now where, they're getting body position early before they get the puck. And that was a situation where 2 guys are going for it. One guy recognized he needed to get body position a little quicker than the other guy, and the other guy wasn't strong and ready for it. And, so yeah, I mean, it's
now, do you think it's a little it's not a penalty at all, but it's a blowout game. It's Ryan Hartman. Like certain guys, you got to be more You
aware.
always got to be aware
Aware.
on your toes, right? And then should somebody in the Oilers, Strutty was like, somebody's got to go say it's a blowout game here, right? He took out one of our best players. Like, because it's Hartman, right? Like if that was, Kaprizov, you're like, well, hey man, be ready. But it's Hartman who's a little bit of a rat. What do you make of like?
I just don't think the Oilers are built that way. I would agree with Strutty, and that's the way Strutty and myself, in the game that, we played in, there definitely was, when you did something like that, someone usually addressed it at some point. I just don't think the Oilers are wired that way. Like when you look at, the Ekholm hit, even though it was by accident by Eichel, nothing really escalates.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing, a little stinky glove, but no one's really getting in there and really sending a real statement to be like, hey, this isn't going to be accepted. I mean, you look at the Nurse hit, right? Nurse and Reeves there, right? Like it was a bad hit.
Yeah.
It was awkward. You got one of your best players down.
Well, Reeves is different because I'm like, no one can do anything to Reeves. It's on the ice, right?
Why?
Well,
why? Because it's Reeves.
Well, if they drop the gloves on him, he's going to pound everybody else on the ice. That's what I'm saying. Like Hartman's
but
not.
Just the fact that you got to get in there, like, get in there and fall down. Like, like my thinking would be because he's so tough and the Oilers don't necessarily have a guy that can stand up to him. But I'm thinking if, my buddies, their teammates in there, and I know that there's a mismatch, well, I'm coming in. Right. And you don't really let them go at it. I just, the Oilers are not maybe that team. Maybe does it change a little bit when Kane gets in the lineup? Like does that element of his game, does that make other guys play a little bigger, a little bit tougher? But I can't disagree that, they could use a little bit more grit and a little bit more toughness on their fourth line.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's even the fourth line because the fourth line doesn't play enough, right? Like I like Kane when he has it and Nurse because they play a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I say Hartman, Hyman, I can go down a list 8 guys in the team that could go up to Hartman because you're like, well, I'm not worried about that guy. You know what I mean? Like that's why I felt like you're up 7-1 here. Just get in. You don't necessarily have to fight him.
Yeah.
Just say something, do something.
And that's where somebody obviously Janmark, Kapanen, obviously Perry has done that throughout his career. He's done that, numerous times this year. But it's for sure another element that you can bring that shows, where you're at maybe as a team, but they haven't done it this year. I just don't think they're that team. I wish they were that team because you imagine if they're already fun to watch because, they got 2 of the best players and they just wow you with their skill. Could you imagine if they had that toughness too?
Oh, like the 80s Oilers.
They would, what an entertaining game.
Hey boys, someone's got to do the baseball chop on Reeves. Remember when Phil Kessel nearly took John Scott's leg off from Stu? Well, I gave him a little bit of a slash. It wasn't very hard. I've talked to John Scott about that, and John kind of chuckled. He goes, "Hey, good for Phil. Like he's not going to do anything to me." So yeah, he goes, "It barely hurt."
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, to get into there's not a lot of time. Sometimes you just. I don't know if you necessarily get into a fight thinking you're going to win. I don't look at
it's
hey,
just
I'm going to fight
willingness.
Jason Gregor because I'm going to win. You fight because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
I agree with you on that.
and I think that, even as a coaching staff, someone, especially a guy like Paul Coffey that, has played on those skilled, tough teams, I would say that's important, right? I think that, when that doesn't happen, to me, that would be a concern. Like, why are you not? You might not be a fighter, but this is a great opportunity to show what type of team and the fact that we got each other's back. But like I said, they're not built that way. They haven't been built that way for a while.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And we only got 1 spot left. So Everly came in and Bruce as well. So we got 1 spot left for 100 bones. 1 more, and then we'll do the draw, and somebody's going to go to the game tonight. Pretty sweet. 833-401-1440. Also, our month of giving, our main package, currently at $4,500, which is a bargain. It's a 12-person suite, 2 parking passes underground. It's January. You definitely want those. And a $500 food and beverage credit to be used in the suite that night. It's January 27th. Oilers home game. 833-401-1440. Currently, Trent has it at 4,500.
For the holidays, because we don't charge overtime rates, including 24/7 emergency. Oh, I need service, please, Santa. Tell me your price. My furnace is naughty. Would you please make it nice? No, I can't wait to find it under my tree. Please send me service from Legacy. No overtime or emergency rates during the holidays or ever. That's how you service your Legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Vimy and Donnan Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you are a student athlete interested in growing as both a person and a hockey player, visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.ca to register for a free shadow day. Beginner or an experienced player, these programs are designed to nurture and develop your skills in a positive and supportive environment. Vimy and Donnan help student athletes pursue their passion for hockey while achieving their academic goals. Register for a Vimy and Donnan Hockey Shadow Day today.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Bring in the new year in the sports bar at Century Casino Edmonton. New Year's Eve, the fun starts with the Oilers watch party. Puck drops at 7 p.m. Great food specials, drink features, and big draws all night long. Enter to win Oilers tickets and signed jerseys, Zamboni coolers, and a 70-inch TV.
Tickets just $25 per person. Includes a $25 sports bar voucher.
Bonus ballots for all draws and more. Hurry, get your New Year's Eve tickets now at Century Casino Edmonton.
Every day is game day at Century Sports Bar and Lounge.
Customers love Cross Mitsubishi for all kinds of reasons, like first-time Fiona. She's never owned a car, but with Cross, she'll celebrate her first car buying experience with confidence.
The festive sale is on. Save up to 15% off all new vehicles. A 2024 Eclipse Cross ES is $30,088. A 2024 Mirage ES is $18,998. Don't forget Cross Mitsubishi's 10-year powertrain and 5-year new vehicle warranty. See Cross Mitsubishi in-store for details. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:30. Welcome back, Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440. Gary came in, so we're done with the. We got our 5 once we get all the money in, and then we'll do the draw. Also, we're up to $5,000 now from Paul for the month of giving. Our package today is a 12-person suite, 2 parking passes underground. You park in underground, then you just walk to the elevator, right up to the suite level. Never have to go outside. And a $500 food and beverage credit to be used in the suite for the Oilers game on January 27th, taking on Le Kraken. Okay? So 833-401-1440. You always like to get face value. Anybody who's been in a suite knows we're not there yet. So we're helping out the Christmas Bureau. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Text in your name if you want it. Should be a great event, and we're helping out the Christmas Bureau. Lots of family this time of year, and you know what? The demand as it gets closer to Christmas sometimes actually goes up. So if your company or yourself, a group of you want to help out, feel free. You'll have a great time. Oilers have become dominant at home again. Here, pounding teams after a little bit of a rough start, but pounding teams lately. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you as we are going to go to our In the Room, brought to you by Action Electrical and commercial building owners. Looking to get some solar on your place? You can get a 30% tax credit rebate. How? Contact Action. Get you a great deal and saving the money. ActionElectrical.net. Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine, NHL.com. Joins us once again. Woodley, my man, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm not in the room. I'm in the car today, boys. A little, you know how it is. You get the game day skate. You finish up those duties. Got a few hours before the puck drop, and Christmas is 9 days away, and you maybe haven't started shopping, so I'm out running errands. Don't tell my wife.
No, I won't. I won't. Before we, you look at the Canucks, I want to talk in Vancouver. How do you think Demko's looked in his first few games, just from being out for that long? From a technical standpoint, and then you throw in what his coach says about not a lot of guys maybe matching the emotional level. Is it even harder right now for the goalies in Vancouver?
Yeah, it's funny. I heard that prize sounded fantastic and for a great cause. Plenty empty seats here at Rogers Arena of late in Vancouver for a team that cannot win at home. 5 home ice wins in 16 games so far. It has been hard to miss the number of empty seats for a team that raised prices after winning one round of the playoffs last year, and that includes suites as well. They just have not, one of the best teams in the league on the road, 10-2-1, but they have not been able to replicate that at home. And I think the last 2 for Demko, there's one in between there, because that's the thing. It's real Jekyll and Hyde here. You're talking about the Oilers pounding teams at home. We very much have not had that. Looked like maybe they were finally trending towards their identity against Florida, 4-0 win that was, tip to tail, what we saw from this team last year, starting with the defensive effort and converting it the other way. That game, 3 rush chances end up in the net. And then they follow it up against the Bruin teams that was coming off of 13-2 in their previous 2 games with an absolute dud. And it's Demko in net for the dud. It's Demko in net for a dud against St. Louis, where the expected goals were over 4. The high danger chances were well into the double digits. This is a guy who hasn't played in 7 months. This is supposed to be your number 1 goalie. They all paid a lot of lip service about watching the work he did and how impressed they were with how hard he worked to get back. And they absolutely hung him out to dry. The first one especially, but even in the second one. And so Tocchet put a few guys on blast for not being able to, and he didn't identify specifics, but 4 or 5 guys that were not able to get there with the emotional involvement required at this level, especially to start the game. Starts have been bad. Home has been bad. And it didn't matter that it was Demko in net. They really hung him out. As far as him, first game was good. I liked what I saw. A little bit of positional drift, a couple moments where his reads were off. Second game, as the game went on, and this will be something worth watching if you tune in tonight against the Avalanche, he started to look like a guy who was pressing a little bit, trying to do too much. As you've heard me talk about before, that's the one thing about goaltender. You don't get to dictate anything. You can't go throw a hit. You can't try and change things up. You have to let the game come to you. There was a point in the last game, early in the second period, where he came charging out past the top of the circles trying to get to a loose puck, won the race, got bumped, wobbled on the bad knee, and went down, and you were like, yee, was that worth it? The good news is he gets back up, and the health isn't a problem. But from then on, over aggressive positionally, chasing wide on a point shot that was headed 3 feet wide, goes off Eric Bransom's butt and between his legs. But because he's chasing, he opens up holes. Chasing on Pasternak wide of the crease, gets tucked on a wrap around the other end. Uncharacteristic positional mistakes. And part of that is just time off and needing to get some of his, some of that, the reads in and trusting his reads of the game and not chasing it. But if these results and his save percentage is low 800s, if they continue and he starts to press, it could get a little interesting around here.
Kevin, what's your philosophy on RVH? I think that's where a goalie has his pad either like just tucked in behind the post or has his skate up against the post. Talking to a buddy, that knows a little bit more about goaltending than myself. I'm kind of, is it a situational play? Because if it's behind the post, right, you can jam it in. Like, what's your thoughts on how a goalie should play those situations?
Okay, so RVH is basically it's designed for dead angles, like you said, plays behind the net, and from most guys will map out the zones, anything from sort of the below the bottom of the circles. Any attack from below there, you can use a reverse VH or RVH, or some guys just call it a reverse. And essentially, it's the short side pad, so the pad against the post is down on the ice, and the backside leg has the skate planted and the knee is off the ice to sort of, you're supposed to use that for two things, that inside leg. One, as a rudder to steer yourself around the post and guide coverage into the middle of the net. And two, drive that short side shoulder up into the post, and hopefully, if you're big enough, as high as the crossbar. Okay. How you execute in terms of what connects with the post, that's the different kinds. You can go in with the skate blade against the post, and that can leave a gap between the bottom of the pad and the post that we've seen guys exploit on short side shots. You can bank it in. I mean, it's not much, but a couple inches, that's all guys need. It's also a lot more demanding on the body because that extra distance of the skate blade, you have to lean over top of your leg to get to the post. And so that's a lot of stress on the knees and hips and ankles. The other one is to have the bottom of the pad against the post and the skate itself inside. Guys will leave a gap in between the toe of the pad. You see the skate lace that they tie between the toe of their pad and the skate itself. They'll leave a longer gap to give themselves space to coordinate. And then the last one, and you'll see this with Boston using it a lot, especially I was talking to Jonas Corposalo. He's added it. Tuukka used to be the best at it. You put your shin of your pad inside the post. And so now more of your body is against the post. It's easier to get that short side coverage with your shin, but you don't have as much mobility and you don't have as much flair along the ice to protect the middle of the net while you're against the post. So there is a give and take in each situation. There is a time and place for each one if you have all three in your bag. And then there's the time and place for when you should be down on your knees in the first place. And that's the larger debate. Guys will overuse it. Demko's in it constantly here, but that's part of his system, and he almost never gets beat in it. He executes it perfectly. He's tall enough to get the shoulders up to the post, and I haven't seen a goal go in on him because of his reverse VH usage in like 3 or 4 years. But the wear and tear on the body of being in and out of all the time, some people will tell you that's one of the reasons he struggled to stay healthy. So it's a very demanding physical position. It has its uses, as one goalie coach told me, because a lot of people just stand up, just stand up. If goalies just stood up all the time, you would see pucks get banked in along the ice a lot more than you do right now. There's a reason this technique exists. You protect the middle, you fill the space in the middle, stuff funneled through from the low slot and dead angles into the middle of the ice. You have net coverage that you don't have with any other technique. But there is a give and take on guys using it too much and too often getting exploited in it.
Kevin Woodley from InGoal Magazine and NHL.com. So Kev Bobrovsky's here. Oilers, of course, know him very well. And Paul Maurice has a good sense of humor. Hey, Bobrovsky's starting. Hopefully he's the only one who plays. Obviously a joke kind of, getting pulled in Edmonton in the playoffs a few times. But you look at Sergei Bobrovsky's game tonight, and you're the Edmonton Oilers. Is there certain ways to exploit Bobrovsky? Are there certain areas of weakness that you should be shooting on him?
Oh, I feel like I wish I still had all the stuff I didn't, because by the time we get to the Stanley Cup final, I've broken them down in 4 different rounds. And to be perfectly honest with you, off the top of the head, I don't know if I remember it all. And it's interesting, his adjusted save percentage right now, coming off a cup, is 64th out of the 86 goalies that have played in the league so far this season. So regular season, as good as he was in the playoffs, it hasn't been there for him to start this year. I think when we talk about the dead angle stuff, and you were talking about just in the reverse VH, watch how he executes it. He's much like Thatcher Demko. Like, he's in it a lot, but he's also very effective in it and moving out of it quickly. To me, I think you got to try and get to the middle of the ice and route pucks high on open looks. There is a tendency a little bit to get a little low and wide in his stance and a little sort of aggressive and over top, cut at the hips, sort of not flopping forward, but just a little press forward. And when you get him in that mode, I'd be looking glove rather than blocker. I think the way he holds, and you'll see it again tonight, watch how much he chokes down on the blocker grip of his stick. He has a unique, what we call a steep shouldered paddle on his stick. So instead of sort of being like a triangle, it's quite rounded, and it allows him to choke way down on it. Spencer Knight's copied it. Frankly, there's probably a dozen guys in the league now that have copied it, because it allows them to balance their stick usage with blocker control. And to me, that's given him one of the best blocker hands in the entire league. So if I've got those open looks, I'm going glove over blocker personally, and some of the numbers statistically back that up.
Okay. Stuart Skinner's game, and Calvin Pickard, but Stuart Skinner here, for the last month has been excellent. He's got a .925 save percentage, a goals against average just above 2. I'm a big goals against, to me, is just as important as save percentage at times, especially when you're at a team that doesn't give up a lot of shots. So you don't get a lot of kind of easy, what I like to call save percentage boosting shots. Skinner, you've talked about it a lot, Kev. Right, off the rush is an area that he can struggle in, but hasn't really gotten beaten there lately. Has there been subtle adjustments, or is Edmonton just not giving up any chances off the rush?
Well, I mean, his numbers have definitely come up in the past month. I mean, for the season, he's still right around expected, but plus 1.4% in the last month. I needed a little more warning given the Wi-Fi in my car to dig out the rush numbers and what they've given up in the past month. But I will say this, Jason, because you asked me to look at a play, and it was actually a goal recently. Yeah. And the puck actually ended up going in. But what I noticed, because it was a broken play off a high danger pass, and it's a puck that goes in over 42% of the time.
For any of our listeners, the Vegas game where people thought that was a terrible goal that Vegas scored, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I think it's a high danger chance, and I think it's deemed high danger broken play, correct?
It is, and it's like a 42% scoring chance. And listen, he got off balance because of the nature of trying to move one way and having to come back the other way. And would you like to keep your feet under you a little more effectively? Sure. But it's not a perfect game, and there's a reason that's a 42% scoring chance. But on that 2-on-1 rush, and it got me looking into some other rush chances and again, I apologize for not being able to pull them up on the spot to see how much that's shifted. But he is definitely, for the most part, taking less ice on these chances.
Yes.
Remember we talked about earlier in the year how aggressive he was, and how for every 2 feet you're out on one side, it means you got to go 4 feet to get to the other side. And he wasn't giving himself a chance on lateral plays off odd man rushes or rush chances. To me, he's just like heels out, maybe 6 inches past the edge of the crease with the heel of his skate. It's a little bit of backwards flow, nothing like the aggression we saw earlier in the year that I talked about being frankly needless and probably not befitting a guy with his lateral limitation skating wise. I mean, he's a big body who, when he's in position and set and square, is a really great first save goalie. Not being able to get himself to that position because of some of his aggressiveness off the rush, to me, was a problem. And it looks like he's made an adjustment there. He's way more conservative in terms of his initial depth. And I think if that's a conscious move, a conscious change he's made, as it appears to be based on the chances I looked at, that's a good move in my opinion. The game has gotten so east-west and so dynamic. Goalies around the league, Vasilevsky talked about it when he was in town with me, backing up, playing inside the crease, less aggressive. And for the rush especially, I think that's a good move for Stuart Skinner, if that's indeed a conscious decision to make the change. And I've seen it a number of occasions. It certainly looks like it to me.
Kevin, what are your thoughts on, I know Skinner's kind of finding his game and he's playing very well, but someone that's really impressed me that I was kind of concerned at the beginning, thinking maybe they needed to bring in maybe a more of a veteran presence, but Calvin Pickard has just been playing for me outstanding. Every time he gets in the net, he seems to deliver and give them exactly what they need. Is that a combination that you feel confident with moving forward?
Yeah, listen, you could have made the argument, and I did make the argument in the summer, that a guy like Kevin Lankinen, given what the number would have been, there were potential upgrades available. But I also understood that they like what they had in Pickard, both in terms of his performances were above expected last year. And to me, that's the baseline, right? Like you need sort of quality starts out of your backup goaltender. And Jason and I talked about this, I think it was last week. His percentage of quality starts were the best in the league among NHL backups. So he's giving them just, average or better goaltending, which is all you're asking for. Were there maybe some upside guys you could have looked at? Yes, but he fits the room. The guys like him. He practices hard and he delivers when he's in there. Listen, 10 of their last 11 games, so I looked at it while waiting to come on with you guys, their goaltender has been better than expected. In other words, the number of goals that should have gone in, their goaltender has outperformed it. And the one where they didn't, it was only ever so slightly against Columbus. Like the goaltending has given them exactly what you need and what you would expect. And when you're getting it out of a low price backup who fits so well in the room and in the practice and all those other elements, I don't know what more you want to ask for. To me, he's delivered exactly what they need in Edmonton. And that is, a chance for Stewart to have nights off without having to worry what they're going to get. A lot of consistency out of Pickard so far this year.
Kev, one last one, and I know you probably don't have the numbers, so maybe we can get into it next week or not. But Shesterkin's numbers here during this funk for the Rangers aren't good, and I know the Rangers are giving up some stuff, sure. But if you're going to pay your goalie, your highest paid guy, some games he's going to have to bail you out. Isn't just like some games the Oilers don't play well, but Connor McDavid scores 3 points and they win. So I look at it, and Jonathan Quick's numbers, which were great earlier, also in the ditch. So what is up lately with the Rangers, and how concerned are you about the team defense / goaltending?
Well, it's funny because, again, you're right. I don't have it right up to date. Now, in the last month, Shesterkin's right around expected. So if this is his floor over the past month, he's still treading water, right? Like that's a pretty decent floor. Whereas other guys have a terrible stretch, they're near the bottom of the league. He's right around league average. So there's something to be said for that. Now, I don't have right up to the last, but there was a stretch kind of right before they made or around when they made the Trouba trade where everybody was pointing to, I think he had given up 4 goals or more in 5 straight games. And I went back and looked at those 5 straight games for him, and they were all quality starts. So for sure, you're right. $11 million, you need to be in the best in the league. You need to bail us out. I think the lesson here is when the defensive environment erodes to a certain extent, there is only so much that any goaltender can do to bail you out. Like there are limitations to what a goaltender can do. And if you've watched some of those games, it's not just that they're playing poor defensively. They're just giving away tap-ins and backdoors and wide open looks. Like their defensive structure has completely eroded. Their top players offensively aren't doing anything in their own end it's frankly, it looks a lot like the Canucks when their top players decide to not show up defensively, right? And you end up getting run under your building 5-1 against Boston. And it doesn't matter what your goaltender does if it's a bunch of backdoor tap-ins and guys cruising through the slot or wrapping around behind the net and passing out across the crease to the other side backdoor. Like when I watch the Rangers right now, and I'm not totally letting the goalies off the hook because there are some that are on them, but it's a lot of that. It's a lot of free goals. It's a lot of what we saw out of the Oilers for the first 6 weeks at the start of last season. And we know what happened based on those first 6 weeks. Goaltending can only do so much. I still believe Shesterkin is one of the best in the league, if not the. And the fact that as everything around him is falling apart and his tire fire territory, he's still hovering around expected and giving them mostly quality starts. That won't last either because eventually it gets so bad you don't know what to cover because nobody's doing their own job and they're not covering anything. But right now he's hanging in there, and the numbers, as bad as they look, aren't actually as that bad when you adjust for the quality. There's just too much high danger.
Kev, as always, buddy, great stuff. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Monday. Have a great week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Enjoy the week. Talk to you next week.
There you go. That's Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Quick break. We'll come back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley. D-Mac is up to $5,500 now on the suite package. We'll tell you what it is next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble!
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right, because the HR lady said it's in humane conditions. But ho, 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 golly gee, Santa got a 1-year guarantee, and the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
A lot of things were going on in 1974. Happy Days premiered on television. The Rubik's Cube was invented. Halley and Foreman fought the rumble in the jungle. And GS Construction started their first job. Yes, for 50 years, GS Construction has been building the infrastructure of Edmonton and surrounding areas. Think of the neighborhoods that weren't even built yet. Think of all the work that had to be done to get them built. Probably about 50 years. But for GS Construction, it's been time well spent. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Santa sweat, dripping on the tree. Due to that new furnace that you got from Legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling wants to help you prepare for Santa. A nice warm stop during the cold night is the gift you give him. And Legacy can help with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your festive new furnace. Because warm homes get better presents. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Everybody now, Santa sweat, Santa sweat. This is really weird. Santa perspire.
Customers love Cross Mitsubishi for all kinds of reasons, like Smart Saver Sammy. He's never spent a dime over his budget. We think that's true, but with prices this low, it's never come up. The festive sale is on. Save up to 15% off all new vehicles. A 2024 Outlander ES is $35,018. A 2024 RV RES is $25,880. Don't forget Cross Mitsubishi's 10-year powertrain and 5-year new vehicle warranty. See Cross Mitsubishi in-store for details. 9605 34th Ave. Mitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Better holidays start with better ingredients. Better pizza from Papa John's. Get 25% off any regular price pizza with the code word BETTER25 at papajohns.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:54. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sean Brown on a lovely Monday game day. Oilers, can they score on Prime? That's the question. 2 Prime games, 2 shutouts. Not good. They got blanked by the Devils on November 4th. And then 2 weeks later in Montreal, got shut out 3-0, one being an empty net goal. So they'll try to score their first on Prime. Meanwhile, the Florida Panthers have been shut out their last 2 games in Vancouver and in Calgary. So one of those streaks is going to end tonight. Somebody's got to score. Although I guess technically they could go 0-0 to a shootout and then it technically wouldn't count. But God forbid we had a 0-0 game, please. Like, I know even those who love low scoring don't love 0-0. Let's not get ourselves. So we had Trent at 5,500 and now D-Max at 5,700. So yeah, we got that sorted out. My bad. Trent actually did have the 5,500 first. So D-Mac is now in at 57. So we are off and rolling. What we're doing today is the suite, still quite undervalued, which is great. We got a lot of time. It's a 12-person suite for the Oilers game on the 27th of January. 2 parking passes underground, $500 food and beverage credit to use in the suite. And myself and Brownie in his 6 sweaters will stop by for a visit during the game.
They can pick a color.
No,
they pick a color. How do you want me to come?
Are you saying dress Sean Brown is part? You get to choose Sean Brown's outfit.
There you go.
Be careful how we word that. All of a sudden, Brownie's showing up in banana hammock. You know what? Not sure that would be great at all, but it'd be funny. It would be funny. For sure. So let's get to the 2-minute warning now, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. It is cold outside. Don't wait till if you know that she's on her last legs, get into Legacy. No payments, no interest for a year. LegacyHeating.ca. As Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, the 2-minute warning, of course, is Tater's words come to life. Cam, of course, in a wheelchair, born with cerebral palsy. He's always wanted to be on radio, but due to his disability, wasn't an option until now. Through the wonders of technology, here's Tater.
The Edmonton Oilers could score 15 goals tonight. 15. Not making this stuff up, Gregor. 15. That's what Florida coach Paul Maurice said. Go fire up YouTube. After the Panthers lost Saturday night in Calgary, Maurice talked about the team's rush defense, said it's not there, been a wall for a while, and if it isn't found on the charter flight up to Edmonton, the Oilers could score 15 on the defending Stanley Cup champions. If we haven't found enough angles for the first time the Oilers and the Panthers played each other since June, there you go. In the Oilers dressing room Monday morning, Captain Connor McDavid said there is a rivalry between the Oilers and the Panthers, playing each other 7 times in the Stanley Cup finals. That's a rivalry, don't you think? Every time Edmonton lines up against the New York Islanders, I get riled up. Sure, the rile-up meter has been going down a bit, but it's still there. Darn tootin' there, Uncle Jack. Because whether it's hockey, soccer, baseball, football, basketball, Oregon, twiddlywinks, when someone beats you for the championship, it stings. But the angle I'm especially having fun with is where this Oiler crew is right now at this juncture of the season. For one, I'm wondering if the Edmonton Fire Department just might be at tonight's game keeping their eyes on Leon Draisaitl, because number 29, he's playing like a strip mall on fire. The goaltending has tightened up. Interesting comment from Oilers head coach Chris Knob Locke Monday morning when asked about Oilers goaltender Stuart Skinner. Before he answered that question, he was quick to point out the play of the man called Picks, as in Calvin Pickard, backup goaltender guy. And the defense has also improved. So angles, lots of them. But for me, the game is a big present wrapped colorfully, of course, under the Christmas tree. But we can't. No. Open it now. You have to wait until after the game, because after the game, we'll be able to see what kind of team the Edmonton Oilers are. Oh, hang on. Just got an email from the North Pole, Santa Claus. He said after the game, and only after the game, Oilers fans will be very, very pleased when they rip back the paper. Let's just see if 15 goals are scored tonight. And please think about supporting the Christmas Bureau today. A suite for 12, Rogers Place. January 25th. The 2-minute warning with me, Tate. Monday, Friday. Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
Paul Maurice was fired up. It was interesting. I will play Paul Maurice. I always like talking to Paul because he gives you some really good insight. He's like, yeah, I was a little fired up, right? Like right away, he's like, yeah, I was a little angry because, he didn't like their defensive game. They give up. And what he said was, you give up chance off the rush. Edmonton's the best rush team in the NHL, right? And they create the most. And he says, we'll give up 15. Obviously, he's being a little bit hyperbolic at that point, but the point is the same. And today, I like his answer goes, no one has really figured out a way to shut down McDavid and Droz. He goes, you might be able to do it for a game or two here or there, but consistently, no one does it. So, you got Barkov, who's really good, but he says you got to do it as a team unit, and you really got to limit them because if they get off the rush, the odds are, and he told a great story. We'll get it later. He told a great story about when he was in Winnipeg. And so they were preparing for the Winnipeg Jets and the Oilers. So that's 2021. Now the Jets swept it, and people just like, oh, the Jets dominated. No, go back and watch that game. The Oilers couldn't score. They were all over them. They kept losing by 1 goal, right? They'd make a key mistake, and then they couldn't score. And so they're in film room. Charlie Huddy's a defensive coach there. And so they're watching these videos, and McDavid's flying through the neutral zone. And so Paul's watching. He's like, well, I'm expecting Charlie Huddy to say something like, hey, guys, like, do this or do that. And he's saying nothing. And finally, Derek Forbort says, okay, guys, my strategy is when he gets to the far blue line, I'm going to beat him to the post. Right now, so think about that. Not at the blue line, but you're a defense when you're backing in. I'm going to turn it and then beat him to the post from the far blue line. And Paul said, like, it goes, honestly, sometimes there's like, you can't really coach it. It's not like you can say, hey, Brownie, so when McDavid's coming flying through the neutral zone, why don't you do this?
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that you just can't stop.
That was so, he's the guy he's not human. He's amazing to watch. And, it's amazing when they do put on the second power play unit, or you just watch another team in their power play and the challenges that different teams have of just getting into the zone cleanly.
Yeah.
And this guy does it like he's like 300 feet in the air watching the game. It truly is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm laughing at Charlie Huddy and the fact he had nothing to say because there is nothing to say.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember playing against guys that, were so skilled, and it's like, the defense is yelling, the defense coach is like, hey, gap up, get up, challenge them. Right. And they're so fast that they blow by you. Now I'm getting, so now
get back
and get your boots moving. And then you get back to the bench and you're like, so then you start to cheat and you say again, well, now they got a rocket of a shot and they're using you as a screen and they're shooting through your legs and they're, picking corners and you're giving up. So my point is like, they have so much skill that they can beat you any which way. They're so hard to defend. And I appreciate, the guys like Lidstrom and Scott Stevens and Niedermeyer, like those guys that, are able to do that, right?
Contain them.
Yeah, because I don't think you don't shut them down. Like you never shut them down. You just try to slow them down.
Yeah.
And the thing that's amazing too is like they're on way more than they're off. Like the consistency and how they play.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair
like
point.
That's not easy. Like it's not, this game isn't an easy game to play, and they play so much, and so much is expected of them. And, whether they win or lose, a lot of it is on their shoulder. I just, the consistency, their preparation and their determination to be the best player on the ice, is something that I appreciate. I mean, I never lived in Alberta, during the Gretzky, I was a Leaf fan, right? And so, I wasn't watching the Oilers. I, obviously heard about Gretzky and we all know what Gretzky did. I, watched him later on, obviously in his career, but like this guy is the Gretzky of, and people say, well, it's like, you gotta, are we really appreciating him?
I think they are.
I think we are. I don't know how you could,
people get reminded better now than they did during that time to say, hey, like, don't take it for granted because he doesn't do, and there'll still be people be like, dude, did you see what McDavid did last night? Like, it's just,
it's gross. And in today's game, like, there's no secrets. Everything is like, there's so much video out there, right? There's nothing he's doing is like, oh my God, I mean, I guess he does at times still do things, that are, that surprise you. But like, these guys are so well coached and so well prepared, and he's able to do that. I mean, I think back, remember the best thing I've ever seen him do was pick up that puck off of Parayko off the boards, lift the stick, get the puck, and take it to the net. How do you even, like, where do you start with that?
Well, we'll come back. Well, when we return, huge news, something that I think there's rare that we can get 100% agreement on something in this country, on anything. But there's a breaking story that we'll get 100% agreement on after a Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Give the gift of Booster Juice this Christmas and holiday season. Buy a $30 gift card and get a free regular size smoothie for yourself. Gifting never tasted so sweet. Download the Booster Reward app today.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers taking on the Florida Panthers just after 6:30. We've got pregame coverage for you here on Sports 1440, getting going at 5:30 with Andrew Walker, Jason Gregor, and Donovan Paulson. You've also the Capitals taking on the Stars, and the Canucks hosting the Avalanche. Javon Leake staying with the green and gold, agreeing to a 2-year contract extension. Leake, 26, joined Edmonton last year, posting career highs with carries, rushing yards, receiving touchdowns, receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. In the NFL today, doubleheader. Vikings host the Bears at 6, then at 6:30, the Falcons head to Vegas to take on the Raiders, and in the association, the Raptors host the Bulls. Tip-off on that one scheduled for 5:30. Some news also just coming down from the NFL. Kansas City Chiefs releasing former first-round pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the 25-year-old running back, the two-time Super Bowl champion after coming out of LSU back in 2020. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by George Richards, talks on Florida Panthers, and Ask 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
I'm making my list, checking it twice. And guess what? I'm giving Wilhock beef jerky to everyone, naughty and nice. Because honestly, everyone deserves a taste of Alberta's finest, no matter if they've been bad or good. So this holiday season, skip the chocolates and pass on the turkey. Make sure you're Wilhocking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Ho, ho, ho!
Available at Wilhock Beef Jerky in Leduc.
Santa sweat, dripping on the tree. Due to that new furnace that you got from Legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling wants to help you prepare for Santa. A nice warm stop during the cold night is the gift you give him. And Legacy can help with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your festive new furnace. Because warm homes get better presents. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Everybody now, Santa sweat. This is really weird. Santa perspiration.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day deals. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet-fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Are you watching the interest rates these days? Of course you are. Paying less interest leaves money in your pocket. That's why St. Albert Dodge is happy to tell you that right now they have 0% financing on virtually all new 2024 models. Hundreds to choose from: Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer, Dodge Durango, and Hornet, Ram 1500, 2500, 3500, all with 0% financing. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Ho, ho, ho! 'Tis the season to find the perfect gift at the perfect price at Leduc Goldsmiths.
The annual Christmas sale is on now with up to 30% off store-wide, plus special flyer savings. All natural and lab-created diamond engagement rings are 15% off with a wide selection available. The team at Leduc Goldsmiths have years of expertise to help you find what you need. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's Jewelry Store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team at Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
410, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. How you doing? Hope you're having a lovely day, Oilers. Panthers tonight. Remember, pregame show starts at 5:30 because it's a 6:42 puck drop, but a little bit earlier because it is on Prime, where the Oilers been shut out in both their performances so far this year against New Jersey and Montreal. Meanwhile, Florida hasn't scored a goal in their last two games. Get to Canada, in Vancouver, and in Calgary, and the Oilers would love for that to continue. More so just the under the W column. You know what? Hey, if you get a shutout, that's a bonus. Edmonton just wants to get a win. Trent came in at 6,000, and Delhi is up to 6,500 as we rock and roll in our package today. It's a great package. It's a suite for 12, 2 parking passes underground. Right in that, really, it's right under the rink. If you've never been there, you go right underground, take the elevator, right to the suites. And there's even that sound, right to the suite. Okay. And you get a $500 food and beverage credit in the suite for that night. And Brownie and myself will pop in for the game. Should be loads of fun. Brown even said, well, he might have wanted to walk that one back, but he'll let you pick the color of his sweater, not his entire outfit. That might be a little too risque for all of us involved. Okay. He's just looking for an excuse to wear his Borat, but we'll try to keep that, although that would be funny in January. So it's January 27th, by the way, for the game. 833-401-1440. It's all for the Christmas Bureau. It's fantastic. We always like to get face value. We're getting closer. 833-401-1440. Oilers tonight taking on the Florida Panthers. And we'll get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership. 13 years running. Excellence Award winners in sales and services. Volvo Cars Edmonton.com. And first, had a chat to, we're going to hear from Troy Stetcher, and then we're going to hear from the head coach, Paul Maurice. And here's Troy Stetcher, who's, you know what, he's come in, just another guy who's contributing, but just talks about what he's seen as the biggest turnaround here over the last 6 weeks for this team.
I don't know. I think obviously at the beginning of the year, it didn't go the way we wanted. And then you start kind of nitpicking at different things. It's like, oh, we're not scoring. So then you try to cheat the game a little bit, but then you get exposed kind of defensively. And just having a better understanding of, 5 guys are coming back to the house, trying to push pucks to the outside. And just with the speed that we have up front, like if we backtrack really well, we're going to have transition and we're going to have out-of-line rushes. And I think that's where our best players thrive, is off the rush with the puck in their hands. So I think it's just a conscious group effort of defending harder.
Also being a unique situation that you're playing with Darnell, then he plays with Kulak, you play with Emberson, but all in the same game. And, you still play the majority of the time with Darnell, but have you ever been in a situation like that and where you're switching guys regularly inside the game?
Probably not to the same extent as here. I've definitely been on let me backtrack a little bit. I think it's a different style in NHL now where you almost match your own team with your own forward lines, like deep pairing with forwards. So I think to that extent, we've made some switches that obviously have helped Cooley, helped Doc, have helped Ty, and helped myself in different situations throughout the game. But this is definitely the most I've been a part of kind of a rotation like that. But in saying that, I've enjoyed playing with both guys, and I feel like we built chemistry, since the start of the year for sure, but at least the last month, I feel like our game's improved a lot.
Shows your versatility. You can play either side in the course of a game. I know you've played left lots beforehand, and with younger guys in Arizona, you were kind of like the veteran guy in the pair. But when you talk about when you sign, you want to be on a team that had a chance to win and having a winning culture. And obviously, you're in that right now, and just that willingness to do whatever it takes, is that part of a winning culture?
Yeah, for sure. But I think it starts from the top down. Maybe not so much the forwards as I'm a D-man myself, but just, watching Eki, for example, he's an absolute horse out there and he does it all. He PKs, plays power play if he wanted to. If we didn't have Bush, I'm sure he'd be a top unit guy. Provides offensive 5-on-5 and defensive metrics that way. And as a guy's lower in the depth chart, you really don't have a choice when you see your top guys doing that on a nightly basis. Not that I would ever take that option, but it is inspiring to help you continue to move forward.
I know it's a regular season game, and it's definitely not going to erase what happened last year, but a little extra juice tonight because it's a rematch of the final.
Yeah, for sure. For these guys and for myself, I didn't get that chance. So I definitely want to come here and try to help this group, I guess revenge is maybe the wrong word, but, get one back on them and kind of move forward. And we're going to face them again later on in the year when we go down there. So, it's obviously a big game for our group, and I'm excited to be part of it.
You're in the midst of a 5 games against 5 really quality teams, and Leon talked about it before. He says, hey, we want to show that we're one of those teams, and so far so good. It just the attention to detail, the intensity all seems to be heightened. This is kind of the time of the regular season where it's can be a little bit more fun than an average regular season game when you challenge yourself against these top teams, and you're obviously one of them.
I mean, when you want to be the best, you want to face the best. So that's kind of the stretch we're on here. I think face 3 first place teams in their divisions. I think Tampa is obviously first in their wild card spot. So you're facing some heavy squads, but we view ourselves as one of those teams too. So I think for us, it's a good measuring stick to be honest with our group and understanding where we are in this league. And so far, like you said, so good, but things can change pretty quick. So we can't get complacent.
Quickly back to tonight, Florida, they like to play a real heavy forecheck game. Quick up, as you talked about earlier, transition, get the puck to our forwards quick, even more imperative against a team like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the most important thing is getting back to pucks quick, trying to create that separation from their forecheck. So even if you are going to get hit, you can still advance the puck and move it up. So just being responsible with the puck tonight and understanding that you're going to have to move your feet to create space. So that's what it seems to be like in the playoffs. And obviously tonight should be kind of one of those games.
Well, there you go. I think it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be fast. I mean, you think back of, the Stanley Cup finals and what Stetcher's talking about, like they are a good skating, checking team, right? It's going to be an entertaining, fast, I imagine tight checking game. And it's, I think the Oilers, as he touched on, are got to be feeling great about their game and we'll be prepared for it, right? And I want to see now, because you got Stetcher, you got Emberson, you got some guys that have done really well, have brought their game to another level and been given an opportunity, but have done things to deserve the opportunity. And this game is going to be a true test on how, where they're at against, a tight, because it's hard to play against these teams.
Oh yeah. Well, and you got to think Florida, after 2 tough losses in Vancouver and Calgary, shutout in both, they'll be fired up, and they know exactly how Edmonton's feeling because they felt it last year against Vegas. And so now, can you match it exactly? No. Florida comes in, they're all smiling today. They've lost 2 in a row, but they're like, we're back at Edmonton, man. This is part of how we won the cup. Like it's a very different feeling. Even though Edmonton's playing great, they were the grumpier team today. And you could just sense it's almost like somebody's ripped the scab off again that last time. So they're just like, oh yeah, we'll get fired up. Now, speaking of fired up, as I said earlier, I'm not sure there's many things where we can get a full agreement on. If you don't agree on this, you're just trying to be the person who's like anti. But I would argue the most inspirational Canadian in history was Terry Fox, for what he did, what he stood for, how he went about it, everything. And got so many people together for just a cause by just doing something very heroic, but very simple at the same time, right? Not a lot of pomp and circumstances, driving on back roads with a van with your buddy, crazy, running on one leg, with an artificial leg while you got cancer was nuts. And today They announced that Terry Fox will appear on Canada's next $5 bill.
Wow. Well deserved. And
well deserved. You kidding me? People will go and get it 100%.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to have it. Like Terry Fox, like my son, because they have the Terry Fox run. Like, the great part about his legacy is it continues on. Kids in school know about it. There's the Terry Fox run. They hear about his story, right? We've had his brother on. We'll probably have to get him on again. And the Terry Fox Foundation and everything they've done has kept his legacy alive, which is hard to do. And I think it's great because it's such a simple yet powerful decision that he decided to do. And 99.999% of people cannot run a marathon 2 days in a row, right? Never mind one. Like, how many people now could you run a marathon tomorrow if you had to and stop and then run and then stop and then run? Maybe, but you probably have a boatload of blisters because you haven't trained for it. And then imagine doing that with an artificial leg and doing it over and over and over again, day after day after day for months. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just gives me goosebumps thinking about that, right? It doesn't, I know it's hard for legacies to continue, but that one doesn't seem hard for me because just the image of that alone is just wow, right? So
Sir Wilfrid Laurier, who is on it now, he's going to go over to the $50 note, which isn't used nearly as much. Obviously, the 5 spot is used the most of the bills. So your Terry Fox $5 bill will be coming out in the next rotation for and probably for a long, long time.
Might have to collect one of those.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Because you know what? You know what's kind of cool that I did was all the denominations when we were kids, like the $1 bill, the $2 bill, $5. I didn't buy them in mint condition, for resale or anything like that. But I bought a number of those bills just to have because they obviously change. And I always think it's cool to look back.
Well, I got some of the older. I still got a few $2 bills.
Yeah.
I got the old $20 bill. A few of them in mint condition.
Okay, isn't it kind of cool to look? Because it brings us back, or it brings you back to a moment of time, right? Like that was. So I always think that's kind of cool for my kids is I always try to, and this obviously will be a bill that would be nice to have and collect, because it's a pretty special but well-deserved.
Yeah. Like it's just a matter of, which picture they're going to put on him. I hope it's one of him on the road running. That would be fantastic. It'd be epic. And now it might just have to be a headshot. That's fine because it's basically always headshots. So that's okay. Probably don't have room to make the body shot, but either way, I think that's good news. I think it's great news, actually. And you know what else? Great news. Trent is up to $7,000 for our month of giving package. Today, the Sweet Oilers and Seattle on the 27th of January. It's a 12-person suite, which includes the 2 underground parking spots, as well as $500 in food and beverage to be used in the suite that night. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We'll return and we will get Florida's side of things with George Richards next on The Gregor Show. Sean Brown, Connor Halley, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can always text in 833-401-1440 in our well inbox, your partner in power since 1975.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs. The men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop door crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Customers love Cross Mitsubishi for all kinds of reasons, like family-focused friend. Mostly, he loves the warranty, knowing his major repairs are covered, and he won't miss a single Christmas concert. The festive sale is on. Save up to 15% off all new vehicles. A 2024 Outlander PHEV ES is $41,648. A 2024 RV RES is $25,880. Don't forget Cross Mitsubishi's 10-year powertrain and 5-year new vehicle warranty. See Cross Mitsubishi in-store for details. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
The owners and staff at Marmot Plastics wish everyone a holiday season filled with joy, laughter, and cherished moments. Marmot Plastics hopes your Christmas is bright and your new year prosperous. Thank you for being part of their journey. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Warmest wishes go out to you from the management and staff of Wetaskiwin Ready Mix. They hope this holiday season is one of the best you've ever had. Enjoy the sights, sounds, and every festive get-together. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from everyone at Wetaskiwin Ready Mix.
It's a Stanley Cup final rematch between Matthew Tkachuk of the Florida Panthers and Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers on Prime Monday Night Hockey. Tune in for an electric battle between two of the game's most dynamic players. This matchup is only available on Prime Video. Panthers versus Oilers, Monday night at 6:30 p.m. only on Prime.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Get up to $10,104 off select 2024 Sierra 2500 AT4 models. Make loading easier than ever with the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. Make hauling easier than ever with up to 14 available camera views, including transparent trailer view. And make finding tunes easier than ever with a class-leading 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. Yeah, let's get to work. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
I know my friend was.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. A better holidays start with better ingredients, better pizza from Papa John's. Get 25% off any regular price pizza with code word BETTER25 at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.427, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you in Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X as we move around. We're going to do our draw now quickly. We got the 5 names. So we give them a few hours to get to the game and make sure I got all the numbers. So I'm closing my eyes, feeling around. Do. Boom. Ooh. Jeff. Jeff is the winner. So Jeff and just anybody, there's Ian, Gary, Ken, Bruce. Well, I just want everybody to know that's fair. It's very official, very official here. So Jeff, congrats. We will get your email, and you'll be going to the game tonight. Pretty sweet. And thanks all for donating. And we're up to 7,000 for the month of giving for the suite on the 27th against Seattle. Imagine if we would have had a suite tonight. Probably been very popular. The rematch for the Stanley Cup final from last season as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And did you know every time you go to a McDonald's, a local area McDonald's, what do you buy? You buy a milkshake. You buy the Big Mac, cheeseburger, the Big Arch. Portion of every meal purchased goes to the Ronald McDonald House. That's how they fund it. And it's a massive facility in our community. Ask anybody whose family has used it. It is so important at one of the worst times in your life. So kudos to all of the local McDonald's owners who help put in all the money to keep Ronald McDonald House going. As George Richards, longtime beat reporter for the Florida Panthers, joins us now. Of course, writes for Florida Hockey Now. And George, a rare little offensive funk here for the Panthers. They can't score in Canada all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. They didn't pack their scoring sticks, I guess. They've got 1 goal in 3 games. What's going on?
Now Barkov, Paul Maurice said, hey, they've had some rough goes the last few years. Barkov got pneumonia here, and Lundell was left in a hotel room for a week. He was so sick. So they're going to be cautious with Barkov. So if he can't go, Lundell's the first line center. Bennett slides into the second line. They obviously still got a ton of depth, but their back end, George, losing Montour, losing Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who I would argue was their best defenseman in the playoffs last year. He was unbelievable.
I agree.
Those two pretty big holes to fill, and they really haven't done it yet.
No, that's been one of the big question marks for the Panthers this year, is losing Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Brandon Montour were huge losses for the Panthers. We saw the kind of contracts those two guys got right on July 1. So Florida couldn't afford to keep them. But yeah, I mean, you look at what OEL did last year in the final. He was terrific. And, Florida obviously trying to replace those guys with, again, they got OEL on a bargain basement deal last year when he got bought out by Vancouver. This year they went with Nate Schmidt on the same kind of a thing. They brought in Adam Boquist, who hasn't played a whole lot. But listen, Nate Schmidt's been fine. But Florida defensively hasn't been as good as it was last year. They've got to figure that out as the season goes on. But right now, so a lot of the concern is around the scoring. 1 goal in 3 games. They've been shut out in the last 2. This happened to them last year on this trip. The exact same dates, not the same opponents, but the exact same dates on this trip. They were shut out in back-to-back games, Seattle and then Vancouver. So they'll figure it out.
You look, and I like Matthew Tkachuk because he's always honest. And he said, man, when I played Vegas last year, which was in December, funny enough, he goes, we were really angry. Like they'd stolen what we wanted. And he said it's a really emotional game, a hard fought game. And they won both their games against Vegas. Like he goes, hey, you can't go back and erase what happened, but maybe at least feel like there's a little pound of flesh. And they know how Edmonton's feeling. And it was funny. Edmonton comes in, they're the hottest team in the league. They're 9-2. The Panthers today, they're all smiles in the room. Hey, we're back in Edmonton, man. We won a cup here. And the order is like, you could just see, like, they weren't, I wouldn't say grumpy, but I think I can just see that today it's like there's a little bit of that scab. It was almost healed, and now you kind of pick at it one last time. I think this is going to be a very different regular season game than what we normally see.
Oh, for sure. And Paul Maurice said so, right? He said these games hit a little bit different. Listen, the Florida Panthers were struggling last year, and then the Vegas Golden Knights came to Sunrise, and Florida absolutely dismantled them. And Paul Maurice pointed to that as the season went on as kind of a turning point for the Panthers of them getting on track was playing the Vegas Golden Knights again. It got Matthew Tkachuk going. He went on a major scoring tear after that game. But listen, the Panthers didn't win the cup in Edmonton. They tried. The cup was in the building, right, for games 4 and 6. They couldn't do it in Edmonton. They did it in game 7 here in Sunrise. But this game hits different. I mean, Edmonton, those guys, listen, they saw all the documentaries, and they had to relive all that stuff, and they had to live through the questions and the summer workouts, seeing the Panthers at the parade and all that stuff. The Panthers got what Edmonton wanted, and Panthers got what Edmonton came close to getting. This one's going to be an intense game, and it could just wake up the Panthers, because the Panthers have been very good against teams that they've faced before because the intensity is higher. So This one should be an exciting one. And congratulations to Jeff. He gets to go tonight. So good for him.
Actually, you know what? Jeff just texted back in. It was actually for his daughter, Everly. She's 10. She put her own money and donated, and she won.
Good for her.
So
Nice.
there you go.
Very good.
Nice.
Kevin, or sorry, George, can you maybe talk a little bit about Sam Bennett? He's a throwback. I mean, everybody in the NHL would want a player like that. And you watched him last year battle against one of his former minor hockey teammates, Connor McDavid. It was just, he'd do anything to win. Maybe talk a little bit about him and his year and what he means to the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, Sam Bennett. What a spark plug guy, right? I mean, he plays that second line. He plays with Matthew Tkachuk on his right side. Gets honored this year for he gets to go for Team Canada at the Four Nations. That's a great deal for him. And like Paul Maurice said, that's the guy that got picked that everybody was rooting for, because it shows that the Panther system, it's a respect for that style of player. I mean, it's not just the goals. I mean, when Sam Bennett's scoring, that just helps your team, but that's not all he does. And that's not all they ask him to do, right? I mean, he goes into the dirty areas. He crashes he's terrific on the forecheck. He gets in front of the net. He's got terrific vision. And that's what, he and Tkachuk work so well together. Sam Bennett's been a terrific pickup by the Panthers the last couple of years. He's shown it here in South Florida. You can't say enough about what Sam Bennett means to the Panthers and to that team last year and this.
George Richards joins us. Panthers taking on the Oilers tonight. Shutout on their last two. Actually, only one goal in their last 3 games. Now, Ekblad, Forsling, Mikula, Kulikov. So after that, you got Adam Boquist, who's not playing tonight, Schmidt, Balinskis, the other 3. So you look at their third pairing, George. Is it captain obvious to say that they're going to upgrade at the deadline? And do you think they'd look more to lefty or righty? Does it matter?
Well, everybody wants a right-handed defenseman, right? I mean, every team in the league's trying to get that. I don't know what the Panthers can do. They're going to try and upgrade the position. We knew that coming into the season that they were going to try that. We said that last year, though. We thought that Florida was going to be looking for defensive help, and they didn't need it. They felt like they were good enough, and they proved themselves. Yeah, I mean, they've got about a slot for about a $2.5 million guy. I don't know what you're going to get, but they're scouting. They're looking into it. I think they're set forward-wise when the trade deadline comes around, barring any kind of injury or anything. But, yeah, when the Panthers are looking for trade partners, it's going to be for a defenseman.
And, I look at their forward group up and down, they don't really seem to have any areas of need there. Right.
I mean, very deep. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So some teams will nip it around the edges, add a veteran guy, but they're pretty deep, although, they have changed kind of a lot. Like Lomberg's gone, like Cousins is gone. Lots of their bottom guys are gone. Stenlund, who I thought was unreal and for them in that fourth line center role last year. Do you see Zito, who's shown he's never been afraid, George? Like we talked about Reinhardt and Bennett and Tkachuk. Like those are 3 major deals that I think really changed the direction of this organization. Do you see him? I look at their window and they're in it to win it now. They'll take a few big swings, won't they? Even up front?
I think absolutely they will. And they're going to take swings as the years go on. They've got all their core guys. We just talked about Sam Bennett. He needs a contract. But most of their core guys are signed for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So this is a team that they think is going to contend for a long time. They're not going to panic. They're not going to, do too much at the deadline just because you're paying big prices there. But listen, he's not afraid to change. Look at the Florida Panthers when he took over in 2020. There's only 3 or 4 guys left. He completely turned over the roster without. They got better every year. There was no rebuild in Florida with the Panthers, but they changed the entire team in just 4 seasons. So they're going to make moves. I don't know if it's at the deadline or not. I mean, I would think maybe something minor, but if it took a major, if he thought that was what this team was missing, he would take that swing.
George, this Western road trip, Florida seems to be struggling a little bit off of the rush, giving three of 4 goals against Vancouver, 2 against Calgary. Yeah. Is there anything that you see in their game? Is it just some poor reads and by the defenseman stepping up, or what is it that you're seeing?
Yeah, it just seems like they're fumbling the puck around in the neutral zone. One of the you talk about the two goals that they gave up in Calgary. One was just a complete giveaway to Kadri, right in the slot. I mean, no goalie's going to stop that. But yeah, I mean, Paul Maurice, that's what he's upset about. We talk about the Florida Panthers scoring 1 goal in 3 games. Paul Maurice is all he wants to talk about is their rush defense and how he said it sucks, and it does. It's been killing them. But it's not like the Panthers are scoring any goals to offset it. So it's really put a spotlight on it. And he's really concerned with the speed that Edmonton's got coming through the zone. It could be a big thing tonight if Florida, isn't able to control the puck in the zone, in the neutral zone. They could have a lot of problems tonight.
Now, where is that stemming from? Is it the forwards? Is it the defense? Why are they so bad lately off the rush?
It's been everybody. It's been the defensemen, maybe rushing some things, not waiting for support. That was the problem with Kulikov. He should have just waited another second or so before trying to bring the puck up the ice. There was no support around him. It's just been a number of things. I mean, and they've just come at the goalies, whether it's Spencer Knight or Sergei Bobrovsky. They've been coming at them in waves. Florida hasn't made many mistakes, but they've made enough to where it's been killing them.
One last one. You look at the goaltender's save percentage, both under 900, Bobrovsky 892, Spencer Knight at 897. Bobrovsky, his numbers, we had Kevin Woodley on, he's not playing where he would want to last season. How much is it goaltending? How much is it just the overall team defense? Like, is it that bad off the rush, or do they need more from Bobrovsky?
I think it's mostly I think it's you blame a lot of what's going on number wise for the Panthers on their defense. And you watch the games, the goalies have been fine. I mean, the goalies, both Spencer Knight and Sergei Bobrovsky, have been fine. And then Paul Maurice has spoke to that. He goes, look at their numbers. They're not great, but their goalies are playing fine. So it's just been some holes that have opened up for the Panthers. Again, you guys have saw the Panthers throughout that series last year. You know how hard they play on the forecheck, on the back check. It's hard for them to replicate it night after night after night after night, because they all know this is game 22. This is this is a Tuesday night. We're playing out, that they don't have that same intensity during the playoffs. And sometimes it comes back and it catches them, but they're good enough to survive. And you look at them in the standings, they're fine, right? They're fine. They're top 3 in the Atlantic. They're good. So I don't know if it's a concern long-term or if it's just, going through the 82 game grind.
George, should be a hell of a game, man. Looking forward to it. Really appreciate your time. Have a great night.
See y'all later.
There you go. That is George Richards from Florida Hockey Now, Panthers and Oilers tonight. And we got about an hour left in our auction today. Trent currently at $7,000 for our package today to help out the Christmas Bureau. It is a 12-person suite, 2 parking passes underground, and $500 food and beverage credit to use in the suite for the Oilers Seattle game on the 27th of January. Sean Brown will make an appearance in your suite if you like. Myself as well. We'll have some fun. So 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is the text line to bid. We'll come back with 5 questions and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game at PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 play.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys. That's right, because the HR lady said it's in humane conditions. But ho, 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 golly gee, Santa got a 1-year guarantee, and the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously. The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day Deal. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet fish sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, stacks valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
A mullet for Marvin, a bowl cut for Barry, a pompadour for Peter, who's now really quite hairy. After this Christmas, all the men wish they could get some hair restoration from Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. While you're Christmas shopping, consider giving yourself the greatest gift of all, a full natural head of hair. I know the results will be life-changing. Want to make this the year you get your mojo back? Book a free first consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Could your school, charity, or community group use financial support with a capital project? Maybe Vision Credit Union can lend a helping hand. Vision proudly offers helping hand grants of up to $10,000 to qualifying organizations for capital projects that benefit our branch communities. Apply by January 31st, 2025 for a chance to qualify. Helping Hand grants up to $10,000 from Vision Credit Union. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Eight 414 Hey, boys, I worked in retail when $2 bills were still in circulation. Most customers declined to take them in their change, so the bills cluttered up the cash tray. Not enough slots. I got in the habit of buying the twos out of my tray on cash out and just saved them. I saved enough in a year for a week in Mexico. Why were people... I love the $2 bills. They were a rarity when you got one. I was like, oh, pass me the two. I'll take it. Yeah, I didn't see them very often. Yeah. Plus, I'm like, I'd rather have 1 2 than 2 1s.
That I found that when you go to the States and you have the ones,
Oh,
it's just way too. You
Way.
got a wad like this.
Dude, yeah,
and
like
it's full of ones.
I'm like Costanza sitting on my wallet, right?
Fumbling around.
It's like I
with
got a
them.
lift on my right side, and that's it on the left. It's like the first time I got any glutes. It's kind of nice, but it's not ideal for the old posture. But yeah, it becomes way too many, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you got the little clip,
Yeah.
right? You got the bill clip
Oh,
now. And I love the bill
looks
clip. It's
good,
great.
'cause
Like,
you put the 50 on the outside.
Yeah.
Look like the big dog.
oh yeah,
I remember Nick. Remember Nick Stajadahar?
yeah, yeah.
Remember
yeah.
him? I played
I do
in my
remember.
first year in pro. He
Yeah.
used to always like I had no money going into pro,
Yeah.
right? And I remember going to the bar with him once, and he pulled out a wad, and it was like a little Pac-Man, right? And it was this, and it was he'd just go through licking, and half of them were fives, but
Ones.
he always had a brown one on
Yeah,
the
the brown
outside.
one. So trying to look like a big deal. Is that before he got knocked out outside Barry T's?
Yeah, but
Yeah, not.
it can be a little misleading, I guess, if you.
Yeah, not great at all. Anyway, 833-401-1440. Oilers, Panthers tonight. Many of you a little concerned because it's on Prime because the Oilers haven't scored a goal yet on Prime. But here's the good news. I'd go out on a ledge today and say the Oilers are not getting shut out. They've been shut out 4 times this year. They're not getting shut out a 5th time in 31 games. I don't see it happening. Their offense is rolling, and they got no shortage of motivation in tonight's game. No shortage at all. As we get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where, hey, Boxing Week savings starting right now. You can save up to $3,000 on a big screen TV, $2,000 on sectionals, and more. Check it out at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, kind of a game day tradition. Oilers Panthers rematch of the Stanley Cup Final. Let's get a prediction as well as a bold prediction.
I'll say the Oilers are going to win 3-1. They'll get an empty netter, and I'll just feed off of what Gregor was just talking about with Prime TV. I think they're going to score. Obviously, they're going to get 3.
I think the Oilers win tonight. They're rolling. Florida isn't. And yeah, I don't know if you can just flip the switch like that. I think there's as much as Florida wants to match it, they just don't have the same disdain right now. They have the cup. They're all excited. They'll come out feeling good. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Oilers are PO'd tonight, and I say they win 5-2 with an empty netter. Bold prediction: Matthias Janmark, first 5-on-5 goal of the season. He's 5th on the team in points, 5-on-5, but no goals yet. 5-on-5.
Question number 2 for you guys today. We had a great chat with Nate Ebner. Took a unique path to the NFL. We see this all the time in sports, different journeys to the pros. When you think of your favorite success stories, maybe an unorthodox one at that, what is the top of your list?
I'm going to go with a hometown guy, Sean Thornton. Won a Stanley Cup with Anaheim, played in Boston, played in Florida, actually, working for Florida, wind up having a tremendous and amazing NHL career. But I just remember just before he was about ready to pack it in and was going to, was looking at becoming a fireman, because he was kind of banging around in the minors for quite a while, fighting and just not getting any traction.
Yeah.
And he wound up playing one more year. And then that was the year that he wound up being traded and getting an opportunity, getting called up with Anaheim, and the rest is history. He wound up winning a cup, and he was such a hard-nosed player and did nothing the traditional way. Like wasn't drafted, right? Just willed his way to get into a position where he was a Stanley Cup champion twice.
One in
right?
Boston,
One of the
too.
toughest guys in NHL. Just played the game the right way. Great teammate. I have a lot of respect for those types of guys. That nothing wrong with the guys that get drafted, and it just goes to show that there's so many paths that you can take, and as long as you don't lose the passion, the enthusiasm, and the will to grind, it's pretty impressive.
9 years in the AHL. And then 11 in the NHL.
amazing.
That's an unreal career. Yeah, it's
and the hard way too.
Yeah.
When he came in the league,
God,
I played against him.
Dude, he was getting 300 PIMs a year in the American
So
League.
I played against him when he, I was a little bit older than him. So he was playing in Peterborough, and hard-nosed forward, fought everybody, and was very limited, right? Very limited in his skill and ability, even in minor hockey. Like he wasn't a very good, minor hockey player, but he was just willing to do what guys weren't willing to do.
Yeah.
And to do that at, when I was like back in the time too, when I was playing in the American League myself, like there was 2 or 3 guys licking their lips every night, to fight.
Yeah.
It was like, it was gross. It was the American Hockey League was scary. It was one scary place to play. Like you did not, when you got up to the NHL, there was no way you wanted to go back, for a number of different reasons, but for one of them being that every team had multiple tough guys. So a lot of credit to him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have 2. One on a very personal note, obviously seeing my nephew make it. First kid from Beaumont to ever score a goal in the NHL. That's good. But I'm going to go with Colton Parayko because met Colton, but I just like the story, especially nowadays when there's way too much early development emphasis, thinking that, oh my goodness, U9, we got to have AAA teams and you got to be here. Oh, we got to put all the kids in the same team. It's moronic. It's idiotic. I can't stand it. People talk about, oh, geez, he's going to fall behind. What are you talking about? He never played AAA, played AA. Then he went to the AJHL, was hoping to maybe get a scholarship. Ends up getting drafted, grows huge, right? Gets a scholarship. And then while he's winning a Stanley Cup, in between games in the playoffs and down the stretch in the regular season, here's a guy who after the game, they're on the plane or whatever, and he's studying to get his degree so he can finish his degree. So I'll go with Colton Parayko.
Question number 3, no guarantees in sports or betting, but at the front of the show sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, who is more likely to cover the spread? The Vikings as 7-point favorites over the Bears, or the Falcons 6-point favorites over the Raiders?
I'll go with the Vikings. I think obviously, it seems to me like they're a team that's playing well and has some momentum. So I'll go with the Vikings.
Yeah, Bears defense gives up a lot, man. And when you look at it, the Falcons struggle covering the spread. Although when I look at the Raiders team, I'm just like, oh my goodness. But I would, if I have to pick, I'll go with the Vikings. I'd eat Addison. Go Addison.
Question number 4. What is the ugliest jersey, I'll say, in professional sports history?
I'll go with I'm going to go with the Montreal Expos. I don't think I've
Oh no.
I know. You know what? I was talking and debating it with my son today, but and I'm looking at the uniform and I'm just just the uniform and the hat. Have you ever seen anyone pull off that hat? The clown hat? It's
the ELB.
Well, just the colors of it. I actually would like to get an Expos hat that's blacked out. I think the logo, and just I've seen some pretty cool style hats.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're Canadian, but I don't know if I've ever seen anyone wear an Expos hat and
pull it off
and look good
in it. All right.
It's a bad look.
Okay. All right.
Pinstripe jerseys are clean though, but your opinion. And I hated the Expos.
Yeah.
Really, Gary Carter?
Jay's guy, sadly.
I'm gonna go. You know which one I'm gonna go with? Maybe is I kind of liked it for a short time, and then the more I looked at it, I was like, nah, that Houston Astros jersey of the 80s. Remember they had the white on the top, and then it was like a rainbow almost, like yellow, orange, red. I think there might have been. It might not have been blue in it anywhere, or maybe it's blue lettering. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I didn't like the Astros. I'll go with that one. And remember the Canadians the one time they brought back like that they looked like the Where's Waldo jerseys. Those were terrible.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think when they bring those jerseys back, I find the colors kind of cool. I remember I went to Mitchell and Ness. You remember Cons? You know Mitchell and Ness, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
company? Yeah. So I did an event for them, and I went to the store in New York, and they allowed me to pick, anything in the store. And I just wasn't prepared for it, and I wound up picking up a Padres, the brown
one. Those
brown,
are nice.
yellow, orange, I don't know, not the best. I mean, there was better, right? So
yeah.
I like those ones. Final question for you guys today. It continues. The weird random days, but it's National Chocolate Covered Anything Day. Brownie, you brought him some fantastic treats that your wife made.
Shout out to Wendy.
Phenomenal. What is the best thing that can be covered in chocolate? Family show. Family show.
There is a chocolate syrup. What are we talking about here? If we're talking to food,
yes.
Ooh, God, that's a good question. I'll go chocolate covered strawberries.
But I like them because my son likes them.
Yours.
Okay, but listen, when you bite into the strawberry and the chocolate breaks, it's not great.
Yeah, but open your mouth. And
well,
put
you
it in your mouth.
one-timer.
And then
Look at the size of strawberries now; they're huge.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. It's okay. I'll go with
your little wee mouth. Can't get a strawberry in.
Well, look at the size of them now. They're like an apple. They're a 2-biter. Most of them.
Yeah. Well, you bite it, but then you bite it. If a little bit of the chocolate flakes off, I don't mind.
Yeah, but you want to. I don't know.
So then how about have a homemade saucer?
Now you got chocolate all over your head.
Yeah, but it's not going to melt.
Well, hot like me.
Okay, princess.
Okay.
What are you eating over there?
I'll go
You're
with
hot.
Okay. I'll go with chocolate covered with caramel and salt pretzel. The crunch. So that is good. You can't deny that, please. Somebody. No?
I'm not a pretzel guy though.
Really? I'm not a pretzel. I would never like. I'm the guy that picks out the pretzels. I don't like the pretzel.
Yeah,
but when you put that
chocolate on,
but you put the chocolate and the caramel.
So you like the sweet and the salt
and the salt.
Yeah,
the crunch.
All right,
that's my mouth's watering.
I can see how you don't mind it, but not. Hey boys, chocolate covered jubes. Not bad. Not bad.
We just there was Shore Park Minor Hockey.
We're getting a lot of votes for chocolate covered bananas.
Ew,
lots
gross.
of people are big.
Really? That's bad.
You don't like bananas?
I love bananas. I don't know if I
like. What about when you get that chocolate fountain and you get to dip all the fruit in?
I had weddings and that.
Oh my God! But you just
chocolate covered pineapple.
Oh yeah.
Now that is juicy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
lots of people love the chocolate covered almonds. Fair.
Oh, you can't
now, what about like you? The biggest ripoff in the world today might be because you remember you used to buy the chocolate almond box, and there used to be more than 10 chocolate covered almonds in the box. Now I think when you buy one of those boxes for $3, there's literally like 10 of them in there. I'm like, I'm paying 30 cents for each one.
What isn't a ripoff now? Everywhere you go, it's twice as much and twice as small.
But that one is way smaller. I found if I look at price point to what used to be in the box, it seems like the price is quadrupled. And I think it's like there at least to be at least 20 in one of those. Now I think it's 10. And like I get why chip boxes have to be, the bag has to be half full, right? Because the air, and I got explained by the chip guys. So chip guys don't text in, we got it. But the chocolate covered almonds, why do we need half the box empty? What are we doing here? It's not like, if you squish it, you're going to be crushing these things. They're not fragile like chips. So I have a very big disdain lately for the chocolate. Now, do I still buy it to support the kids? Yeah, because I love them. But I buy it not liking that I do it. It's just
I can't.
That's my public way to say I don't like it, but I'm still doing it, which is pretty soft on my part now that I say it out loud.
But having less is probably not a bad thing.
Well, no, I don't buy them all the time. It's not like they're coming around all the time. Now, if there's anybody out there in Lacombe Park Estates with mint Girl Guide cookies, do a little tour. Because
Girl Guide.
Oh,
cookies.
buddy.
But even because we have changed.
Because one of our neighbors, her daughter was in Girl Guide. So every year she'd come by and I loved it.
Yeah.
But now she graduated out of it. There's no, like, you can't, it's not like you can just go buy those things, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where they exist. Like, I don't even know where the Girl Guide cookie, like, there's not a store, right? But I don't know where the Girl Guides are hanging out, like, to make these things. You should, like, Girl Guides, I'll just give you guys a tip. You should have, like, a Girl Guide cookie stand.
Yeah.
You know how you have a lemonade stand sometimes in the summer? Just get the Girl Guide cookies in the fall. You make a killing. Absolute killing. Well, at least in my neighborhood, you would.
What if you could order them year round online?
Well, it's like anything. When it becomes too available, you don't want it. You want to have this. I want to see it like once a year, maybe twice, but once a year, it's just like, yeah, here they come. Because I like the fact that you can't get it all the time. That's what makes it better. Right? Once it's available year round, well, now it kind of loses the appeal.
Yeah.
Right.
I like them frozen. Do you like chocolate or vanilla?
Oh, no, I like the mint ones the best.
Oh, no.
What are you talking about? The chocolate?
I haven't even had it. I wouldn't even go. I wouldn't even go
there.
there.
Do you even have a palate?
Like, I wouldn't even go there. It doesn't interest me at all.
Did your taste buds get punched out of you?
No.
Oh, because you got a lot of questionable
really
food choices.
The mint, I haven't even had it. Not even had one. Doesn't interest
the mint
me.
Ones. Have you had one? No.
Well, frozen vanilla Girl Guide cookies.
Try the frozen mint one, Brownie. I'm telling you. I am telling you right now.
Are they thick or thin?
Oh no, they're thinner than the Girl Guide cookies.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're delicious. Anybody out there, if you have to choose Girl Guide cookies, vanilla, chocolate, or mint, which is number one? 833-401-1440.
Little parched over there.
Well, yeah, my mouth's watering. I'm thinking about it. Brownie, have a good one. We will see you next Monday.
I'm going to leave these sweets here for you guys.
Oh, sure.
To enjoy. Have a good one, folks.
Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Great ride, Wayne selection of tires. Now, remember, most of you should have your winter tires on now. But just on the off chance, you've been delaying, don't delay any longer. They'll even store your summer tires. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. Oilers hosting the Panthers. Puck drop 6:30. We got pregame coverage getting going at 5:30 here with Andrew Walker, Jason Gregor, and Donovan Paulson. Elsewhere, Stars host the Caps and the Avs, taking on the Canucks. Week 15 NFL will wrap up. 2 games tonight. 11-2 Vikings hosting the 4-9 Bears. That gets going at 6, and at 6:30 the Falcons head to Sin City to take on the Raiders. Off the field, the Kansas City Chiefs have released former first-round running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And in the association, the Toronto Raptors are in action. They'll host the Bulls, tip-off 5:30. Also the Hornets, Sixers, Heat, Pistons. That's up against the Cavs, Nuggets, and Sacramento. And the Clippers hosting the Utah Jazz. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear from Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and get to Oilers pregame coverage. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop Door Crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture, up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
When interest rates are low, that's a good time to buy a vehicle. And 0% means it's a great time to buy. Right now, St. Albert Dodge can set you up with 0% financing on hundreds of vehicles. Virtually all new 2024 models. Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0%. Dodge Durango and Hornet. 0%. Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 trucks, all as low as 0%. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Get ready to make a game day decision with McDonald's Fan Day Deal. Grab a $4 Big Mac, McChicken, or filet for sandwich exclusively through the McDonald's app. Wow, what a deal. Plus, tax valid on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a limited time at participating restaurants in Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Are you losing sleep over your debt? Being hounded by collection calls? My name is Parveen Middleton, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I understand this can be a stressful situation, and I'm here to help. I can put a stop to these collection calls and guide you towards your debt-free future. All it takes is one phone call. Let's discuss your debt relief options during a free consultation. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Dealers, the Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. We got about 35 minutes left in our auction. I will end at about 5:45 today. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Currently, Trent has it at $7,000. Nice, good bid, but hey, we can always get up to get a little bit more to face value. We're closing in. It is a 12-person suite to the Oilers game on January 27th. It includes 2 parking passes underground. You wheel in, and you go right to the elevator, right up to the suite. You will also get a $500 food and beverage credit in the suite that night. So for 12, Brownie and myself will stop in and say hello. So 833-401-1440. We'll have a lot of fun, a lot of chirps with Brownie. And also, like you said, as a bonus, if you want, you can pick his sweater color of the night. That was his offer. So he's got a lot of them. He's like the Mr. Roper of sweaters. If you know that era, you know. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. A lighter night in the NHL tonight. 3 games. Washington's in Dallas, Florida, and Edmonton, and Colorado is in Vancouver. The Canucks. They're not like Edmonton, according to their head coach, where they got guys who can just win the game by themselves. They need everybody going. And right now, they have 4 or 5 guys who aren't emotionally invested. Woo, mama. That is a pretty bold statement from the coach. A little bit of a challenge to some guys that, hey, to compete every night in the NHL, it's hard, but you got to be emotionally invested. And I would expect a lot of emotion in tonight's game, Oilers and the Panthers, as, of course, Florida broke the Oilers' heart, stole their dream last year. And that's probably, I know guys that they never get over losing a Stanley Cup, even if you win one later. So, last year, Florida, when they faced Vegas, who beat them, they won them both times. And Matt Tkachuk admitted that, we were pretty angry when we played them the first time, and probably the same way for the Oilers tonight. As we get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction Underground Infrastructure. They're like that, depth guy, blocks a lot of shots, doesn't get a lot of credit. Underground infrastructure, without it, wouldn't be doing a lot above ground. GS Construction, as Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, Edmonton just keeps rolling. The Vegas comes in, and it was, pretty tightly played first period. And then, in the second period, it just kind of went off, and there was goals galore. And then there's the non-call on Eichel, which the one thing that was asked is like, why'd they blow the whistle down if it wasn't a penalty? Valid point. So either way, how you doing?
I'm doing well. For me, it's a penalty all day long. The question is, the only question, their argument is it 2, is it 4, is it 5? We can have that discussion. It's always a penalty. But to me, the reason that it was for sure a penalty, Eichel just stopped playing and stood there like, oh, man, did I ever just take a penalty? Like
Yeah.
he had. I thought at first that Ekholm fell on his stick and he couldn't get it away. He didn't. Eichel just stood there like, oh man, now I got to go to the box.
Yeah.
Then he went to the box, and then they go, "What are you doing in the box? You don't have a penalty."
Well, yeah, it was an odd one. Matthias Ekholm, I talked to him at length today about it, and he said that him and Francis had a really, I don't know if you saw it, Spec, that he said for the full 2 minutes of the timeout in the third period, they were talking because he just said, hey, man, I just need to understand. And he said he looked at it in the second intermission, and he said, you know what, yeah, it probably could have been a boarding call, but the ref still didn't think it was like that bad. And I'm like, well, I don't care. I just still think in the NHL, they've done a great job of cracking down on headshots. We don't see them very often anymore. And when there is one like Reeves on Nurse, it's a no-brainer. It's clear contact of the head. You get a 5-game suspension, and no one really questions it. Hits from behind, cross checks in the boards. Like people were showing me the one from the Boston-Vancouver game. Same thing. It is still an issue. The only problem is no one's gotten seriously hurt, and they're just going to wait. I don't know when it's going to happen. I hope it never happens. But at some point, it's going to happen. If they're allowing guys to cross-check guys, especially from that 2-3 feet range, because that's when you start going head first.
Yeah, it was not a hard cross-check by any means, but just a very dangerous one. And, I kind of look at it like this, Jay. Like, when I'm watching a game and there's, 40 NHL players and nobody can handle the puck and they're all over skating and stuff, I go, man, the ice must be terrible because those guys are all the best players in the world. They can't handle a damn puck tonight. When I see a professional top-end defenseman anyway, but any of these guys, when I see a guy like Matthias Ekholm go face first into the boards, right? I go, well, that doesn't happen unless he got a lot of help, right? He's not some hack guy who falls into the boards because he's not very good. He goes face first in the boards for a reason. So it's just, I'm not here calling for a misconduct or I think it might have been a 4-minute at best because he didn't hit him hard and he didn't intend to, but he did it. And it's just gotta be a penalty. You can't let a guy off the hook and say, oh, you didn't do anything bad. I mean, everyone in the world who watches hockey and knows hockey knows that's a dangerous play. It's gotta come with some kind of penalty.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Mark Spector joins us here in 1440, but they move on. They did win. They got balanced scoring again, led like Leon Draisaitl leads the way, scores again. He's got 8 goals in his last 4 games, including 8 points in his last 4 games, including goals in every one of those games. And, he's playing great. McDavid's got 20 points in his last 11 games. Every player who's dressed regularly has at least 2 points in this 11-game run. You're getting contributions up and down the lineup, Spec. And, we did see, it's like Groundhog came out. We saw a shadow. Victor Arvidsson is alive. He is skating. He did skate today, albeit he took some reps in Bouchard's spot because they only have 5 defensemen, right? But we'll see if maybe he's there on Thursday. But right now, there's no factor in the facet of the Oilers game, that is struggling.
No, everything's good, right? Everything's good, right down to the backup goalie. Whenever Pickard plays, he plays just fine. So, listen, I guess it's around now, maybe, Jay. Like last year, this thing never really ended. Last year, they just stayed good, and they played 7-25 hockey till the end of the season. And that's only a very good team can do that. Well, they're starting into that again. They're starting into that, playing over 700 hockey. And one of two things happens. It's a streak and it's going to come to an end and they're going to fall on some hard times. Like let's say the Jets did, and maybe Minnesota is now, or they're going to keep going like they did last year and continue to play this well to the end. And I don't know which one it'll be, but right now it feels very much like it felt a year ago, Jay, where they got about 6 or 7 different ways to win a hockey game. They'll beat you 2-1. They'll beat you 6-3. They'll beat you 7-5. They'll beat you 1-0. If they need goaltending, they got it. If they need scoring, they got plenty of that. So they've got a lot of ways to win right now. And they're, that's why they were in the Stanley Cup last year. And they look very much like a team that might be in it again this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what moves they make. Now, around the league, Spec, you look at the Vancouver Canucks. What did you make of Rick Tocchet's comments after that game?
I mean, I know Rick well enough to know that he meant them in respect to the Oilers, basically saying he wasn't saying, oh, they got a bunch of guys, right? He wasn't saying the Oilers have a bunch of guys that McDavid carries every night. He wasn't saying that. But, you know, I think what he was saying was, I mean, really, he's pointing it at his own team. His
of course.
His leaders aren't as good of players as Edmonton's leaders. I think we'd all agree. That's fair to say. They don't. Leon Draisaitl will be the best player in their team in Vancouver. No one would argue that. Maybe let's throw Quinn Hughes out of the mix. Best forward on the team for sure.
But it's better than Quinn Hughes.
It's better than Quinn Hughes. I'm just trying to be, you know, fair here. My point is this: his leaders don't bring it the way the Edmonton leaders do, and that's what he's trying to say. I think he's looking at his leaders and saying, "Look at those guys. Be more like them." You know, and the culture in Vancouver, their top-paid guy, right, shows up 1 out of every 4 games, Elias Pettersson. Who's going to follow that guy? No one's following that guy. They're all hockey players know. And they go home after the game in the car with each other and they go, what the hell's going on with Pettersson? He barely, you know, wanted a drop tonight. Like, this guy's our leader. How's he our leader? He barely played. And that's a giant problem when your best guys show up half-assed the way, you know, some of their best guys do a lot of nights. You can't win. And Tocchet knows it better than anybody. What do you think?
Oh, no, I'm wholeheartedly in agree with you. I think he said, hey, I got, you know, and then he said at the end, hey, you know what, I got to get more out of them. And to me, that was the gentleman's way of not trying to throw his players on the bus by saying it's him. But every player you've ever talked to will tell you the coach's job might be to motivate you 3% of the time. Right. It's a dog days of the season, whatever. And maybe you're banged up. Okay. But the vast majority of the time, that's your job. Okay. That's your job. Name another job where your boss has to come in every morning. Okay. Right. Does the job get all the writers together at sports and okay, guys, everybody get on their keyboards and let's start hammering. Go. Like, come on, give me a break. Right. Like, what is you're gonna start naming off and, you know, announcing the best synonyms to use? Like, give me a break. You know, it's this is up to the players. And in Vancouver, when your best guys aren't your best guys, and it's what he said was they're not emotionally engaged enough to win. And it's hard. Like, and that's a hard thing to do. But man, to me, that's if I'm the management team, I'm listening to my coach on this because he's in the room and he sees what's going on. And if he's saying we don't have enough guys emotionally ready, we got a problem.
Yeah, you can't find a coach that 82 games a year motivates his team to play. That's not a coach's job. A coach's job and a staff's job is to provide his team with a winning game plan that they can carry out, right? That's what the coaches are there for. Here's how we're going to beat tonight's opponent. Here's how we're going to beat tomorrow's opponent. You know, sure, okay, it's mid-January. They played a lot of games. You're on a road trip. Paul Maurice is the king of this. He'll come in the room and he'll have some goofy speech or he'll have some angle or they'll find a guy who it's his birthday, or guys will put $300 on the board because they used to play for the other team. Sure, there's some gimmicks along the way to get us through an 82 game season emotionally. I get that. But when you're Vancouver and you've been going sour at home all year, there should be no need for tricks here, right? It's right there in front of you. We got to bring it. I don't need someone to tell me, what do they got, 4 wins at home all season or something? They've been brutal. They've been brutal at home. And the coach doesn't need to dance a little dance in the middle of the room for these guys. It is 1,000% on the players to be motivated to play in Vancouver right now. It's up to the coach to give them the game plan. But if they can't figure out that they need to self-motivate, then that's a bigger problem than anything here.
Matt Tkachuk said he was very angry when they played Vegas. He's expecting the Oilers to be there. I sense McDavid maybe was a little bit today. And that's not a bad. I'm not saying it's a negative. I think it's a positive. What was interesting, though, Tkachuk said, hey, they got a lot of skill, got it fast. He thinks it's going to be a very physical game. Do you think he's right?
Yeah, I do. I think, you know, sometimes you get two teams that play, and like let's say when it's a playoff series, Jay, your team's leading my team 3-1. It's almost impossible for you to motivate yourself and to have the same urgency and desperation that my team has, right? If I lose, my season's over. So your team tries to replicate that, but frankly, you can't. Tonight is one of those games. It's in a smaller form, but the Oilers are, when they see that uniform, it reminds them of the worst time in their hockey lives. Like, let's face it, the Oilers don't want to talk about it. They're not here to talk about what happened last year. But when they see that panther on the chest, it just pisses them off and makes them sour. And frankly, when the Florida guys see that Oilers logo, it makes them happy. And they think of good, nice things and all the stuff they did in the parade and the time they had. It ain't the same tonight. One team is freaking sour. And again, I didn't hear the Oilers talking about it much this morning because I think they want this to go away. But one team's sour, the other team's not sour. And I'll be interested to see if Florida can match Edmonton's level of emotion tonight. It's awfully hard when you're Florida in this. They won when it mattered, man. Whatever happens tonight, their name's on the cup and Edmonton's aren't. But it'll be hard for Florida to match the emotion tonight. I don't. Generally speaking, it's a difficult time to be the team that won.
Yeah,
is that fair?
That's totally valid. We will see you at the rink tonight.
Okay, thanks, Jake.
There you go. It's a Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got about 20 minutes left in our auction item today to help out the Christmas Bureau. It's currently at a nice bid of $7,000. We always like to go up a little bit. Trent has it at 7 Gs for the Oilers suite for 12, 2 parking passes, a $50 food and beverage credit to be used in the suite that night for January 27th game. So exactly 6 weeks from today. 833-401-1440. You can get in right there. Also, coming up tomorrow on the show, we have, for those of you want to sit down with the president and the GM and have dinner and discuss strategies and more, well, we'll have that dinner courtesy of Bruce Chris tomorrow on the program. So, should be fun. Lots of fun. So I can tell you that the two gents will be hosting that they'll answer any of your questions. And I think it's a time where people want to hear what they have to say moving forward. So we'll get to that tomorrow on the show. Coming up, we have the pregame show. Oilers taking on the Florida Panthers. Walker, Paulson, myself will be by. Should be entertaining, to say the least. Exciting. We got a lot of texts coming in. 833-401-1440. Guys, where's the game tonight? I don't see it listed. It's on. Remember, it's Monday, and this is the national game, and it is on Amazon Prime. All right? So you have to watch it on Prime. And I know the Oilers have yet to score a goal in their 2 Prime games. They lost at home to New Jersey 3-0 and lost in Montreal 3-0. So they will look for their first goal on Prime. The Canucks will be looking for the Panthers will be looking for their first goal in Canada. They've been shut out in both Vancouver and Calgary so far in this road trip. And they only scored 1 goal in Seattle. So Oilers get some goals tonight. Pretty good odds. Should be a spicy affair. I can't wait. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the pregame show next here. It's the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor15 and get a free $50 play in the month of December.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you